seconds out, and we're live.
Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the 18th edition of the Home Theater Hub. Appreciate everyone out there joining us today. Mr. Ike,
Yo,
co-host Easy HT Tech. What's going on in the world of Mr. Ike today?
um, not much. Maybe a breaking news somewhere down the road, but yeah, it looks like we got a packed day. We got a lot to talk about and cover on the channel today. I'm looking forward to the special guests that we have today. So that's one home theater that I'm hoping to get to experience in person. So
Have a special guest.
um, I'm
Did
I'm
you
really
bring something
excited
I don't know
about that.
about?
No, you know about it. I'm just saying. I hope you do. I mean, you thought yesterday was Thursday, so
Yeah, I mean, from
hope.
yesterday, maybe not.
Mr. Paul, we'll get to that in a second. Mr. Paul, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Nothing new. Just chilling, getting some more work stuff done and out of the way. It always is piling on, but I did watch Dune again this week in anticipation for watching Dune 2 again, or not again, but for the first time. But
First time, okay.
yeah, so hoping to enjoy that, and just like everybody's saying, it should be a good media or disc release or kaleidoscope release in your own home theater from what I hear. So, and to that, I might as well just open my
Go ahead and pop the top,
innovations
man.
and
There you go. Pop the top.
welcome.
So, so those of you that were just listening, I did in fact yesterday. Paul and Ike, they were working on some behind the scenes calibration, and I wanted to set up something because I wanted to do something a little different today. I wanted to set up another camera and have some different angles, and for some reason I have no clue why, but I thought it was Thursday. I text Scott. Matter of fact, you can bring Scott in, Scott and Katt in from Living It with Scott and Katt. I text Scott and Katt the link, and I didn't even pay attention to Scott. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow at 9:10, and I wasn't paying attention to my phone, and I'm like, Ike and Paul are just doing this calibration, and I'm like,
We're 5 minutes from 8:30, and he's like, "What are you guys doing? Why aren't you ready? Stop doing that!" And we're like, "What?"
we got 15 minutes. They're like, 15 minutes to what? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, it's not Thursday, dude. I'm like, oh my God. That's just the type of week that it's been for me. So
Yeah, one of those weeks for you, man. That's not too bad. So
yeah,
could be worse.
I had two audits at work. So one of them was from our company. I had to prepare for that. And then I had another one come right back to back. Another company came in, a third party company came in. It was just been a crazy week. So for those of you that don't know, we're going to welcome Scott and Katt from Living It with Scott and Katt. What's going on, guys?
Hey, everybody. We're ready to party. Oh,
Heck yeah. So
Cheers to that.
yes. So Scott and Katt, they run a podcast. What are you on? You're on YouTube. What are your other socials that you're on?
YouTube, Facebook, and now I'm just now in the process of loading some of our episodes onto Spotify.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, we've not started to do any audio only or anything like that. So that's something that we also need to look into. Also, Mr. I, can you pull up that share screen to give Mr. Scott and Katt some love? Make sure you
Yeah.
guys go to.
Oh, did I
That's
put
our
it on the
box.
screen?
That's not the share
I,
screen. You're
I put
pulling. There you go. There we go. So, Scott and Katt, they actually have some really good guests on their channel. I don't know how they managed to do that, but no, I'm just playing. Scott's been in this community for quite some time, and we got some questions for Katt too. But Scott's been in this community for quite some time, all over the forums, all over Facebook, and so he's definitely well known and has a vast knowledge of home theater. So Scott, if you wouldn't mind, give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Some of my first.
Besides the porn star role that you have.
Well, that was very brief and didn't pay very well, but I did have 2 subscribers. So
Okay.
yeah.
I was one of them.
Yeah, she was one of them. That's how we met.
No.
And then the other one was a janitor at some hotel we met. But that was weird. But anyway. No, audio and video pretty much have just been in my bloodline ever since I was. It's kind of even strange to say that some of my earliest memories of a kid have just been around stereos and audio and video equipment, and me and my dad running through like pawn shops and stuff like that and checking stuff out. And remember my dad going through like stereo and quadraphonic, and then when Dolby Pro Logic came out, that was like, mind blowing to everybody that you had surround speakers and stuff. So just watching and living through that, I don't know. I got a lot of good memories. I met a lot of good friends. It was actually strange starting my own like podcast or anything around it, because I didn't want to take my enjoyment and my hobby and kind of publicize it, because obviously you open yourself up to some scrutiny or judgment, and then you're also taking your free time to work on a channel. So then you're like, man, now I can't even enjoy my hobby like I used to, because if I have some free time, I should be doing something for the channel. But a lot of people from various groups, like Michael Stevens, came and hung out with us for a few days, and he just hung out. He goes, man, you guys just need to introduce yourselves to the world. I think YouTube would be a good spot for you guys to hang out. I think the community needs you guys. So he pushed us into it, and we're very thankful for that. And everybody's been welcome with open arms. And it's been I travel around. I go to a lot of home theaters myself. We live in Chicago. I've driven to South Carolina, Pennsylvania a couple times, Wisconsin. I go around and look and check out as much stuff as I can. Kansas City last year for M-Wave. Katt will be joining me this year for M-Wave. She'll be helping out down there with registrations and stuff. So, no, a lot of good friends, a lot of good memories, and I enjoy it. Trying to get my little one into it. She's scared to death of the movie theater. I said, "Do you realize whose daughter you are? Like, I need you to get into this." She was cool with the movie theater until she's scared to death of toilets. Once again, I'm a plumber, so I was like, "Do you know whose daughter you are?"
Yeah. She doesn't like bass or toilets.
So we went to the movie theater to see Paw Patrol, and she had to go to the bathroom. Well, it was an automatic flush toilet. She moved the toilet flush while she was still on it.
She hasn't been.
We haven't been back to the movie theater since.
Oh wow!
I don't blame you, man. I hate when those things flush when you. I was like, I'm not done yet. Like, dang it.
We do have a video though when she was probably 2 or 3 of her in here. I love you speakers.
She goes, I love these speakers, and she's hugging them and kissing them and stuff. So
we show them to her, and she's like, "No, I don't want to see that."
So anymore. On her wedding day, many years from now, I'll make sure to play that video.
That's funny. That's some funny stuff. Yeah, my son is 4 years old, and I have to literally drag him like to the movies. I said, let's go watch. I wanted to take him to see Kung Fu Panda, the new one that's out. And oh, you want to go see Kung Fu Panda? Nope, don't want to go. But once he gets in there and gets seated in the seat and stuff like that, then he actually can enjoy it. I took him to see Mario in 3D, and he does like 3D because when we go to Disney, we put on the glasses, and he really loves all the 3D movie things that they have there, like the attractions and stuff like that. So yeah, I understand what you mean by having the fear of whether or not she's going to like the theater or not, because I'm sitting there telling my wife the other morning, every time I start the movie, he's like, "No, I don't want to watch that." So I'm like,
it's hard to keep the little one's attention for so long too. I mean, when she was a lot littler, we could get her in here watching Pets, and it was a lot easier to do like family movie nights. And then when she was little, I can't wait till she gets a little bit bigger to go to the movie theater, and we could do that every weekend when you go to work. And every time we
got a drive-through movie theater. No. It's only about an hour away, and I was just excited. So maybe when she gets a little bit older, just because I'm fearful, that the movie theaters and drive-ins won't be around. I'm like, you're going to miss out on a really cool piece of cinema history, and I don't know. It means a lot more to me than it does to her, obviously.
But one day it'll mean something more to her, like it does to you, probably more now than it did to you as a kid with your dad.
Well, I don't know what era you live in, but drive-in movie theaters have been gone for quite some time.
No, we have
No,
one. Like
we
an
have
hour.
one an hour away.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Still
Yeah.
existing?
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're
okay.
packed. They're packed.
Oh yeah, they get really busy.
I think
Oh,
there's
wow.
still one here in the Kansas City area, if I recall. But yeah, it's pretty popular. And the cool thing about drive-ins is they generally do two major films, like back to back.
That's
The
how
only
this one
problem
does
is
it.
you
I
always
didn't
fall
think you
asleep
could watch
during the
the
second
film.
one if you go for the first one, unless you can stay awake watching movies for 4 hours. But it's generally really cool, or a cool night. You're in the back of a truck or whatever, and then the first movie you can make it through, and then about 40 minutes or 30 minutes through the first one, you're like, oh, you're passed out.
Don, I think we just lost you.
Yeah, my
We just
camera.
lost your camera.
So, well, that's a pretty fun experience.
Yeah, I have a lot of
So,
fun. My stepdad, when I was little, taking us to those, so that would be cool to show it. I don't think my oldest is 23. I don't think she's ever even been to a drive-in theater, and we don't live too far from one.
yeah, there's nothing like the little, either your stereo or the little can box that you hang on the window that you had.
Yeah.
Tuning
Yep.
it. Yeah.
So
Hopefully you didn't
was
get
Don,
broken.
were we not interesting enough for Don? Is this the first
Yeah.
time he's ever left his own podcast?
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
He took
He probably went to go wash
he,
his
he
hair.
took the whole OnlyFans thing too literally. So
He must have had a big tip from his other channel, so he had to pause this
Yeah.
live stream.
The problem is I got too many cameras set up. I got my phone set up today. I got another camera set up. So I don't know what happened there, but my camera itself shut way off there. So, but anyway,
too
here we
many
go.
cameras, huh? We believe you. But look, we got a quick we already got a good question for Scott and Katt. Let's see if we can get them to answer this. So Eric wants to know how to get his wife a little more involved in the whole home theater Johnny M wave. I put the question on the screen. So if you want to share your secret, Scott.
oh, you're
I
going
think
or-
that's more of a question to Katt. How did
Yeah.
you get into audio and theater yourself?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't think that I've always, as far as I don't know how to answer this. I've always been like a huge music lover, like always. And
We do a lot of concerts and stuff.
yeah, we've always went to a lot of concerts, and just I love the music thing. And then when we would do the home the movies, the family movies and stuff, it was always fun. With our little one, our kids would have sleepovers, and we'd have kids down here. I don't know that I've always been so supportive of like all of this, but I feel like what really got me like wanting to be involved was actually when we started doing our get-togethers at our house, and then just meeting the people, and everybody has just been very nice. And it was like just be, I don't know, like feeling like part of the guys club or the, whatever you say, however you say it. But yeah,
just one of the guys.
Yeah. Not that I want to be one of the guys, but it's just very
I don't
nice.
want you to be one of the guys.
It's just very nice.
That's yet another channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you more of a 2-channel? Do you consider yourself more of a 2-channel, like audio music, or do you just
Probably.
like the hobby overall? Because to me, I'm kind of this exactly what you're saying. I
So
love the
you're-
hobby, but I like the parties and the events more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever I'm having an event, I'm not even watching my own theater. I'll be playing a movie and there'll be 5 or 6 people watching it. And I'm like, I've already seen the movie, or I'm just like talking and entertaining all the other guests, which is why I also have the barcade type of thing. And it just makes it fun.
Katt won't come in the theater without me because she has no desire to learn how to use all this. But the 2-channel RTJ setup upstairs, I mean, she knows how to. She'll use that all the time if she wants. She doesn't. She'll crank it up. She gets in the Metallica, all that. I'll come home, pull in the driveway. I'm like, she's gonna get the cops called on her. Like, what the heck is this?
I
girl
was getting ready
doing?
to ask
Can
ask
you
the
show the picture,
question.
please?
Have you ever had to say, "Cat, turn that down"?
No, I haven't.
Uh,
No, I haven't.
Because
You haven't
that
said
would be
anything to her
hilarious.
then?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, Tim.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess because I think people on our channel have been like, how do you get her? I guess just get her involved in like the groups. I think, I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of the music. And I love movies. Like he sees I'm always watching something, or I always have music playing. But I think what brought me into it was being brought into it, is I guess like the whole point of it, and getting to know everybody, and everybody's been cool. And, starting the YouTube or putting yourself out there, I'm pretty shy. So, of course the concern of mine was to be like, people aren't always so nice. So I was kind of concerned about it, but it's been the exact opposite. Like I've made friends with people, and just now we like follow each other on Facebook, and we, chat back and forth. And so it's definitely because of his hobby, and then it's brought me into it.
And when I mentioned, and she kind of like caught me out of left field with this, is when I said, yeah, I'm gonna go to M-Wave again this year. And she's like, okay, cool. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go with this time. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, I think I want to go and just kind of hang out with everybody, and because she's got to know like Jeff and Tony and Mark and Michael, and just got to know, because we've had roughly like, I mean, this spring we'll have like up to 400 people now that have come over to do demos and stuff. So she's met a lot of people in the hobby. So people are messaging, hey, are you guys both going to come?
And
I'm going to bring my girlfriend or wife. Maybe we can go grab dinner. We could go grab a drink.
Yeah.
And I think people are using her as like, well, there's going to be another girl there. We can all kind of hang out. And Katt's fully supportive of all that. She's just there to have a good time. So
and to get to know, like to get to meet some people, that talk to us on our channel or on our Facebook. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to meet, some of them face to face now.
Yeah,
So.
that's really cool. And now on top of that, do you guys ever find yourself delving into other hobbies on top of that? Because generally people kind of that are into certain hobbies and things, they're really like-minded. Like whenever I go to some music or whatever, they're either playing music, they end up liking like coffee. I'm big into coffee. I'm motorcycle riding, snowboarding, and you end up finding a bunch of other people that are into other additional hobbies that you're into. Do you guys, since you guys have so many people, do you guys kind of cross over into other hobbies as well? And
I don't think yet.
no, not what sucks for me is this. Is I don't ever really know what we're doing until last second, just because I help run a 24-hour emergency service plumbing company in Chicago. So it's literally all day and all night sometimes. And it when we go to Vegas pretty often, and usually she doesn't even know until a week before we leave. I'm like, hey, I see, like I got like a 2-day break next week. We're gonna go ahead and just go to Vegas, that's just how we have to plan pretty much everything that's going on in our life. It's just if I just happen to get a day or two free here or there. So we've had a lot of people like extend, like, hey, we should go do this or go do that. It's just,
but I think a lot of people live kind of far away too. Like we've had people come to, I can't even think of a
space brings us together. Well, yeah, we got people like flying in and driving in.
No, but I mean, like people have been like, hey, if you're ever out this way.
Yeah, we get a lot of people like, hey, if you're going to be out in New York, you're going to be out in like Philadelphia, if you're going to be out in Austin, stuff like that. And then there's like 5 or 6 people in Florida waiting for us, like Don Dunn and Michael Stevens and Matthew Pose. We're going to go out there and visit his theater. And it's just,
he never knows when he's.
We just don't. Time. Yeah, the time is just.
Totally understand that. I could make the time. I'm just like, if it's too much work to schedule, I'm like, I don't even want to bother. It's like,
well, that's why we call it, like if you're going to M-Wave, we're all trying to work on getting a big group of people like to go out to dinner or go out for a cocktail or something on one of the nights. That's then hopefully we can meet a lot of people. We do the open invite at our house once a year for Bass Brings Us Together, and then we also travel to other people's home theaters as well too. Like if they say, hey, in 3 months, we're going to have a bunch of people over, you guys are invited, we'll do everything we can to make that as well.
So what day are you guys flying into them with? Wednesday or Thursday?
No, we're going to be leaving out Friday morning at probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock Friday morning.
Oh, okay.
You're driving though, correct?
You're
Yeah, we're driving.
right.
Last time I brought a sub back with me. I don't know if I'll be bringing anything back with me this time, but I don't want to not be able to.
Everybody saw that look, right?
Well, and
I
you're
know,
close.
right?
You're close enough that I mean, seriously, like
It's 8 hour drive.
I don't know that I would drive to Chicago. Midway, maybe, but
Yeah, you
yeah,
could
it's
pay
like
someone
you're
to
4 hours in airport.
you could pay
Yeah,
someone to
well,
drive behind
Another
you.
4 hours, you're already here.
And
You know.
Catherine wouldn't know what is in the trunk, so you can pay someone
but
to drive
see,
behind
I
you.
drive all day for work anyway because I have an hour and a half commute to work and a 2 hour ride home most of the time. So I drive 3 or 4 hours a day just to get to and from, and then I drive around the city all day. So for driving for 8 hours, I mean
like
it's
a day
I'm used
for
to it
you,
anyway.
yeah.
So
No, I can
driving
tell
no
you
problem.
I drive in downtown Miami and all the surrounding areas of Miami and every day, and I still don't like it. So you make it sound like it's a cupcake, but
Well, if you're used to Chicago traffic, I can tell you, once you get out of Chicago, it's easy breeze
Yeah,
from there.
yeah. I've been doing the Chicago drive. I mean, I started there before I could even drive, so I'm going on my 25th year doing that. I'll be 40 in a couple months. That'll be my 25th. I started there when I was 15.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, I've been doing it for a while.
So I put that up back that thing back up. Talk to us a little bit about what we got going on here.
That's a 65-inch Samsung TV, and that is an Apple iPad. And then, what kind of carpet is that in the background?
Yeah, is that an IKEA? No, is that an IKEA carpet? And
That might be actually.
Amazon, I think.
We got
Um,
and what kind of can lights are those that you have there?
General Electric.
Is it Alexa enabled? Oh, did I just trigger
No,
some?
no. We're waiting on the YouTube check before we go all out.
So it's like we got some. Those are the RTJs. Is that correct? Or there's
Yeah,
the JTRs.
those are the RTJ, which is JTR's dealer / premium / integrator line. So basically, what they are is the two metal sections is the RTJ 410, which has got 4 10-inch drivers on each channel, and then a two-way compression driver down in the throat of the horn. And then up top is the RTJ 18. The bottom is RTJ 18s as well too. So that's how these were getting released. And we've had quite a few speakers through this room of this house, a couple different pairs. And so me and Jeff became friends over the years just because I did the theater with all his stuff. And when he was in Wisconsin, he was only an hour and a half drive away from me. So I visited his shop quite often. And when he was coming up with these, I said, hey, I'm going to have like 20 or 30 people over to check out the theater. He goes, oh, I got something cool that's going to be dropping. I'll bring them by and everybody can check them out. They're not even been released yet. So he brought them by and everybody absolutely loved them. They weren't set up like this though. And then a year later, I threw my first base brings us together, and then he shipped out another set because I was gonna have like 60 or 70 people out, and then Tony Negretti was working for him too, so Tony was gonna be there, set him up, and just kind of display him for RTJ and JTR just so people could check them out. Well, the night before everybody's over, we set everything up, and me and Katt were having some drinks, and she's sitting down, and we had a hot seat placed, and we had them set up perfect, and she was just sitting in a chair, and me and like 6 or 7 other guys, now it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and she's listening to some Metallica, and it's just getting louder and louder, and then it's getting real loud, and we had a limiter set on the preamp. She goes, this won't go any louder. Can somebody take this limiter off? And it was already real loud. And so she went through like the whole Metallica Black album and then through some like Dave Matthews Band and stuff. Now, by the end of that, she had a couple of cocktails and she was feeling all right. And she came up to me and a couple of the guys and she goes, I know I said I didn't want any other speakers in the rest of this house. She's like, but these can't leave. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I want them to stay. She's like, I really like them. She's like, I know they're expensive. We won't ever talk about the cost ever again. She's like, but she's like, I don't want these to leave. So we did the show the next day. Everybody came over, enjoyed them. And then Jeff messaged me the day after that. He says, hey, if you want to work on getting those boxed up, and then, I'll send you a return label. I was like, yeah, we got to have a talk about that.
Well, the next day I was like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
it's kind of a big.
So it was this is definitely the biggest purchase that we've made. And I mean, the theater ended up costing more money overall, but I built it over years and years. This was definitely the biggest purchase her and I have ever made at one time for anything. So it definitely took some consideration. But I'm not one to switch out stuff a lot. If I really enjoy something, I mean, people think I'm kidding, but I'll keep them until the termites eat them. I'll just come in one day and it'll be the metal baskets from the drivers on the floor.
Right.
Like like I said, I've always enjoyed music, but I don't think that I've ever had speakers like impress me. Like we've seen a lot. It's just kind of like I said.
She's checked out the $100,000 Martin Logan Neil list. We've checked those out. We've checked out a few other ones. And when she heard these,
for something, it was just something about these. I was like, okay, I really dig.
Yeah, if you like live music, that's
it's just it's
the
like
best reproduction of like a live concert with those speakers.
Yeah, it pierces you like.
And she hears it like from coming from behind her. She goes, I feel like the band is set up just right, and it was funny too because she's always enjoyed the hobby with me, but it was the first time that we seen her get excited. She's like, play that song again. She's like, it feels like the person's standing right in the room singing right to me. So, and I was like, oh, honey, we shouldn't do that. No. So, but the living room, I mean, that system will stay. That. Well, this is a newer picture. We used to have an old rock wall on that wall. She's like, okay, now if we're going to keep the speakers, she's like, I want you to tear the whole rock wall down. We're going to rebuild the whole wall, reface the fireplace. Me and her built the mantle the way that she wanted it done. So all that we did ourselves.
Oh, nice.
It was a huge pain in the ass project.
Yeah, it was like those big, huge, but flat.
We re-insulated, re-ran electric, redid drywall. Then she's like, I want the mantle to look just like this. So then we custom cut all the wood and and then we refaced the fireplace too. So it was
a lot of labor if you're,
We had the mat from the cement back there. This poor guy was like just hammering away. Cleanup was insanity with those big things. It was terrible.
Yeah, people are really afraid of drywall, and that's honestly like the easiest part. It's like,
it's easy
mud
to
and
cut
paint.
up the drywall, right? It's modding it and getting it to look like it was before you cut it up, right? I think that's the challenge for most people. Anybody can cut up a drywall. Your 2-year-old can knock your drywall and tear it up, but you got to put it and make it look as good as when you cut it. I think that's
just the trick
part.
of mudding and
the whole mudding thing just
that
gets
not getting the fast dry stuff so you can actually sand it.
So I ranting because I don't like mudding.
My advice to Eric would be just make her feel part of it. I've always made Katt feel part of it. Everybody, if me and the audio guys were going out to dinner or doing something, she was always invited, and she would, I don't know. Katt was kind of hesitant at first just because it's a lot of guys I don't know. But I think if you just kind of introduce and, and
make it more an event like of people as more than just the gear and the equipment, which, us nerds, we nerd out on stuff all the time. But at the same time, I can nerd out. But whenever I'm actually talking to my friends and people, they don't care about any. I'm the nerdiest one of all my friends that I know. So
I'm done.
They still enjoy,
I'm trying to get viewerships here, so we're just gonna move Scott out of the frame and put Katt up mainframe here. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, you're gonna split screen it.
And then to Eric, I don't know, if she likes music, just find songs that like really like get her, like pull her in, and then I mean, like the RTJ did.
Like,
Just
obviously,
pulled
buy the
me
Taylor Swift album live thing
Oh,
and play that on
Our
your
little one
theater.
just
Surely she
like,
likes that.
well, it wasn't super hard. Man, Cat likes bass too, because like
Mhm.
we've been to like EDM shows. We flew up to Vegas to a Skrillex show, like a pool party EDM concert. So she's
Oh,
always
nice.
been.
and I
And
got used to it when in my younger
Wait,
years.
pool
We'd have
party EDM? Did you say
hard.
With
pool?
Skrillex? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh, that was
I
a good time.
yeah,
I need to attend a Skrillex concert, man.
man, I tell you what, if you want to feel old real fast, go to that concert because the concert doesn't start till 11 p.m.
Yeah.
It goes 11. We left that concert at 5 o'clock in the morning in Vegas. That's what it is. We walked down to Buffalo Wild Wings. There's a 3 hour wait. That's how
Yeah.
busy everything was around
We
after
were
the
a
show.
few years younger then.
That's how Miami is. You walk out of the club at 6 a.m. You know, it's like
Oh yeah, yeah. We just did the Miami thing. Yeah, at that Liv nightclub.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Better
Different
bring a lot of
areas
money.
do
People hang
that.
there all
Yeah.
night.
It's
Yeah,
weird because
you don't leave the house until midnight for an hour to go down there. You know?
yeah,
It's like-
yep, I know. Like, I think
When we're home,
Kansas
it's
City
8 o'clock.
parties earlier, but yeah, whenever I moved to Louisville, I went out at like 9 or something like that, and around 11:30, I was like, man, I'm bored. People didn't even leave until midnight. I was like, wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
I was too early. I didn't know that.
I was thinking about 10. Yeah, I'm still going to be at the house at 10 o'clock. You know?
Yeah, you gotta take a nap, and sleep, and then wake up and leave at 10 o'clock.
Now I would, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
so we talked about, talk a little bit about your event that you guys put together. I know that you said that you had almost 400 people there. What does that event entail, and how often do you hold that event, Scott?
Well, by 400 people, I mean that's a cumulative over the last couple of years since we've started the
Oh yeah,
event.
we
Not
could
at
do it at
once.
one time.
Yeah, yeah. Our house is just a little shed, so that would be hard. But no, so basically we started. So our event that we host.
We've always been entertainers. Like we would do game nights and friends get
Yeah, like
we've
with our
always-
friends and
yeah.
people come over and we gamble
Yeah.
for a night or
Yeah.
have some drinks or food. So as I was building this current system, I was getting people asked a lot because, well, basically what started us into this is once I started buying JTR stuff, is people couldn't go just listen to JTR anywhere. So, you get involved like a JTR group on Facebook or something, and people are like, hey, I'm looking at buying JTR. Obviously, you can't go to a store and listen to it. Anybody willing to open up their home? And, there's already groups of guys like around Chicagoland, and we were all hanging out anyway. I'm like, well, I know a couple guys, or I will, in 2 weeks, we're all getting together if you want to swing by. So then it was just getting more popular and popular. And we were getting people asking us all the time, like, hey, can we fly out and check out your theater? Or, can we drive out and check out your theater? And I said, man, this is really starting to build some steam that people like want to come out and check the stuff out. So then people were coming for the base. I noticed a lot of people were coming for base. So I said, well, let's call the event Base Brings Us Together, because 75% of the people that were coming wanted to experience, high octane bass pretty much. So every year, different part times of the year. Well, I host all year round, actually. I just, like 4 weeks ago, had 6 guys come over. And then a couple weeks before that, about once a month, I'll host a very small to like just 2 or 3 people. But once a year, we host to 60 people. I usually give like a 3 or 4 month notice. And people just come out for the day. We start like last year, Mark Seaton and Jeff Permanian from JTR, Michael Stevens flew down for a couple of days, and we all just kind of, hung out before and after and during the event. I mean, after the event at 10 o'clock at night, me, Jeff, and Michael Stevens were down at the pool hall shooting pool at 10 o'clock at night. So,
Yeah, and I had to leave to go to work, so I missed out on the fun after action.
So, the gear brings us all together, but everybody's just friends too, because like 6 or 7 people from the get together went to the pool hall with us, and like 10 of us are just down there shooting pool the rest of the night, because everybody's amped up from the day. Everybody's adrenaline's strong from all the loud music and just everybody hanging out. So Katt would make a lot of the food, and then I would order pizzas. And then last year we're like, so many people want such different stuff, and it's a huge. I mean, for her to make food for like 60 people, appetizers and stuff, and we were spending so much money on like order out pizzas and stuff. I was like, with all we're dropping $1,000 here on this. Why don't we just have a food truck show up to the house, make to order whatever anybody wants? Then we don't
Wow.
have to make none of the food. We don't have to clean nothing up.
Well, no, I still
It
make.
sucks too because you have to be the host and prepare the food, set it up, and all that. So
Yeah.
food truck's a fantastic idea. The one question that I have though is, doesn't your spidey sense go up when you got all these people that you don't know coming to your house?
I think a
does it?
lot of people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, but you know what's really good is I always make sure that a third of the guests are people that have already been here or that I'm close with.
Yeah, that is
because
true.
then they help entertain the people. Because all of my friends, probably like all my other nerdy friends like me, they're happy to get their hands on a newcomer. Oh my God, let's talk about this. And so it's pretty much like I really got 20 people here to entertain 40 people. That's what it is.
Absolutely. You have to, you build that community. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There's possibly, the larger you get, especially in your situation where you might be inviting strangers over. But if you have a good group of them that already know you and your friends, they're gonna have your back for whatever. It's like, hey,
And if somebody's trying to carry out a sub, we're gonna see it.
Yeah, you're not gonna
exactly.
anywhere else.
And even if they had intentions, which this community is so small, I don't know that anybody would, but it's possible. It's always, keep it in the back of your brain. It's not that it couldn't happen, but
and we stagger arrivals, because we go pretty much from about 9 in the morning till 9 at night. It lasts about 12 hours all day, and about every hour, about 6 to 8 people will show up. We don't ever ask anybody to leave. It's just the first year we did it, we only had 40 people come because we didn't know how many the house would hold. And 32 of them showed up in the first hour. And that's a lot of people to deal with.
And that's before we had the RTJs up there to listen to. And there's only 4 seats down here. So he was demoing like 4 at a time. So everybody's just kind of standing around.
Yeah, so now, we got some arcade games. We got the 2-channel setup. We got the theater. And now this year we're adding on the 3rd setup in the garage for people to listen to another setup in the garage. So now there'll be 3 experiences here at the house. And so just for the people that are flying in or driving and getting hotels, taking time away from their family or from, their work or, vacation days, I just want to make it a real awesome event for anybody.
So average guy. I was just about to read that out, but he wants to know if any of your neighbors attend.
Yeah, from their houses.
They just open their windows.
Yeah, that's funny. The community is so small that I have it's kind of funny story. I think Michael was going to Florida or going to somewhere, I don't remember. And he sat next to someone and talked to him for a couple hours. And then I was selling some subwoofers, and then he I guess literally that week prior, he was like, "Oh, hey, do you ever watch this YouTube channel?" I was like, "Yeah, I know Michael." And he was like, "What? No way." And he'd come to my house, and this guy looks like Travis Kelce. So it's pretty, he's a big dude too. And I called Michael up, and he was like, "What? No way." Like, dude, that's the guy I talked to for like a couple hours. That's how small this community is,
Yeah.
This is like 2 different states, and he lives up north of me, like about a 45 minutes. So it's not like we're neighbors or anything like that. But it was kind of funny that the community is and he has a really cool setup too. It really Chiefs themed. And I really dig his setup. I like the themes, of the theaters, and his is pretty cool. So, but it's such a small community.
One thing that I like that you guys are doing on your channel, it's not your average, channel, right? It's a mixture of whatever you want to do and whatever you're having fun with is what I like about it. So talk a little bit about the stuff outside of audio that you guys are doing on the channel.
Well, I guess the thing that and Michael Youthman kind of instilled this in our head. He goes, you guys both seem like, he goes, I hung out with you for a couple days. You're just positive people. People need positivity in their life. And so if me and her can just go out there and talk about a trip that we just took, or a trip coming up, or just what's going on with the girls in our life, and if we don't have to fake it or fudge it, and it's just easy to roll off the tongue, I mean, then we can do this all day and all night. It's just
I think it started because we knew you wanted it was going to be, you were going to do something geared towards the home theater.
Well,
to start with, we knew that, so it was kind of like to add.
Well, but my whole thing, like I told Michael, is I said I already have enough time away from Katt as it is with work. If I'm going to take on a YouTube channel, I want to incorporate her in it, because I don't want to get home from work and then I'm downstairs for an hour or two, just more time away from her, because she already deals. I mean, not so much as of just lately. I mean, but like before I had my spine surgery and that, I would go on, like, I'd work 30 days in a row. And that's leaving at 4 or 5 in the morning, getting home 6, 7 at night, not spending any time with anybody. Now that's calmed down a little bit, but still, I just said, because Katt tells me all the time, she's like, well, people ain't necessarily coming on here to see me. I don't know nothing about this stuff. I said, but I said, I don't care. We're laughing, we're joking, we're having a good time, we're spending time together. If they don't want to come on and listen to both of us, then they can log off. I mean, because at the end of the day, that doesn't matter to me. If me and her could just come on here and have a good laugh and chat, because we get along extremely well, and it's easy. We joke around with each other a lot, so we're just trying to bring that. I don't know. We just like positivity.
Yeah. So basically, we knew, like, it, because you had talked about, actually for a few years, about doing something with the home theater stuff, because it's always been an interest to you. So I think we knew from the Jump Street that it was going to be that, but then to bring me into it, we're like, okay, well, what can we do together? And then you can kind of have your home theater stuff with it. So I was like, well, we do enjoy traveling a lot, and we do have kids, and stories and funny stories and whatever. So yeah, that's how it kind of all got started.
Yeah, because I think you guys probably set the fastest record to get to 1,000 subscribers. I've been trying to do that for like a year now, and you guys, like, you got to 1,000 subscribers in like 72 hours. That was like really. What was the secret, man? I really need to know. Somebody share whatever that magic sauce was, but that was really impressive, And I would say, if you've not had a chance to check out their channel, I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Go check out their channel and subscribe. It's really fun, and you're gonna enjoy it.
But I think, like, the biggest thing is just because I've known so many people in the hobby for so long, that once I kind of started putting it out there, like, hey, I'm going to start and this all goes to credit to a lot of my guests, because I mean, for, like, me and Mark Seaton are buddies, but to get Mark on a channel, I mean, Mark Seaton has been in the speaker building game and highly respected for a long time. So people want to tune in to see what somebody like Mark Seaton has to say. And then, Matthew Pose is very, with Audioholics and stuff. So I just knowing those guys and them doing me a favor. I say doing me a favor, but they actually enjoy you. What I think people don't understand, first of all, about these guys like Mark Seaton, oh yeah, he owns and runs his own business. Well, he's not just doing it for the publicity. He's very well known. Is they just enjoy talking about the hobby and about their. I feel like somebody like Mark he's an enthusiast like us, but he just went to the extreme and opened his own business to do it. But I think just of going to all these, I've been to Expo, I've been to different audio events, and just once I started putting it out on Facebook, hey, I'm going to be starting my own channel, got people kind of excited, just because I've always welcomed everybody into the hobby with open arms. And it's funny, before I did the YouTube thing, every night I'd be laying in bed, Katt be like, who are you talking with tonight? And I'd show her, there'd be like 30 unread messages. Hey, what subwoofer should I buy? Hey, this, hey, that, hey, this. So we knew that there was a want for it. It's just, I don't know, I'd just say we were both I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. Everywhere we go on vacation, I talk to everybody. I don't care. I don't shut up. But it was different.
Yeah, you don't shut up.
It was different. It was different to get in front of the. What's that, Don?
I said I'm like you. I talk to people in the grocery store line.
Yeah. Every time we go somewhere, Katt's like, "Who's that
Who's that?
person?"
Who are you talking to?
I was like,
now?
"Oh no, I just met that girl. Or I just met that guy. I don't know. They're from New York and they're here seeing her grandma." But
Yeah, I like the exact opposite. They say opposites attract. Yeah, I'm like more shy until I get to know people, and he's just talks to everybody.
and I think having Katt with me too helped us because you don't find many women coming on talking about audio and video stuff. You don't even find many women that want to come on and talk about, anything. That's guy related at all. Like, I don't think a lot of women want to come on and talk about a Vegas gambling trip and stuff like that. But that's, you know, that's kind of what we do. So it was hard to get her on camera. She, but now,
Yeah.
the
So,
first
Katt,
5 minutes she's cold, but then she's smooth sailing.
so
So
Katt, what's your favorite demo track, and how many times a day do you get to listen to demo tracks?
What? Why are you laughing?
well, she doesn't really listen to demo tracks. She's got her playlist.
I got
on
a
the
playlist. That's what
What's your favorite on your playlist? What do you like to just listen to, just to shake the room, shake the house?
I'm definitely like Metallica. So much Metallica.
Creedence Clearwater's on it.
Credence, but that's kind of.
CCR. Yeah, CCR. That's pretty cool. So are you 80s? Are you into Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Poison, Def Leppard?
Avenged
Hers goes from
Sevenfold
like
is my
Prince to
favorite.
Metallica to Dave Matthews to
it's all
Chris
of it.
Stapleton. So
Yeah.
you get a little bit of everything.
And then he gets, to test his speakers, he gets like the Adele's and the Nora Jones going, and those I like just because of like the clarity and
It's funny.
smoothness of it.
She'll listen to songs with me because she likes the way it sounds, not because of the words of the artist. She'll be like, "Oh, during Bass Brings Us Together, play that song, and that song sounds really good to me." So,
Yeah.
Like when you can hear him breathe, it like just I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
anything like this, it gives you a feeling.
That is I know people that play like guitar, and I've known people that play like every note perfectly, right? But there's like no soul in it. And then there's people that play the song that's just like they may be missing, every fifth note or something, but it sounds so much. There's there's soul in music. There really is, and it's fun to experience that, and whenever you're listening to an album or something. Lately I've been into like remakes, like Come Together, Dream On, like remakes or covers, if you would.
Like coffee shop covers.
A bunch of covers, because and it's what I like about it is they really like the song, and they're trying to portray how they were moved, but yet still play the original song, and it's, oh man, I've just been really getting into that. Like there's so many covers, and I've have Tidal that I've been using for that, and they got some, it's pretty decent, but I'm really into that. So you might check out some of the cover artists that will redo some of your favorite songs, even like they'll recover Metallica songs, and it's like, wow, that's amazing.
yeah,
So-
that hold on before we go any further. Eric Johnson, that's a sore subject for Katt and I. Korn sounds great, but dark in a different generation. We waited at a Korn concert last summer, and they called it because of rain, and we were extremely upset.
Yeah.
We drove home. And then they're like, okay, now we're doing the concert now.
And it's 40 minutes from home. I'm like,
yeah, so we're both Korn fans. We miss that.
Yeah.
And speaking of covers, actually the one that Katt and I just decided to add to our get-together playlist is a cover of Stand By Me by Tracy Chapman. Sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, that was one of the ones, on my playlist. I was like, oh, that's pretty wild. So
the other day you were playing the Dire Straits.
Money for Nothing.
And that, just the chords, and it's good shit stuff.
Oh yeah, those,
and
honestly, horn speakers, the Dire Straits song, they say really good on horn speakers. I prefer it on horn speakers than I do soft dome or non-horn speakers. It just sounds different, but mostly because the highs and the guitar solos in there are just amazing on horns.
Even like the synthesized music, like the newer stuff when he does the get together, I'm like, put some of those in there just because you hear like the wah, like I don't know. It's just I love it.
Yeah, you hear all the effects tables. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So, what would you say is, Katt? What would you say is a hobby outside of, audio that you enjoy?
Right now I'm really into puzzles. That's been my newest thing. Like I'm really like kind of like an old lady, I guess. I don't know.
She just drove around for hours 2 days ago, hitting up all the thrift stores for old puzzles.
Yeah,
all day driving around different cities.
Geeking out on puzzles lately. I love anything home decorating, home remodeling.
Hold on, let's stay on the puzzles for a second. Okay. Because so she goes, well, I'll do the puzzle and then I'll sell the puzzle, and the puzzle don't cost me anything to do. So she sold 2 puzzles to a lady last night. She goes, I might cry. I'm emotionally attached to that puzzle. I was like,
I said, now I get it. Go into the speakers.
Puzzles, that's a mind exercise. That is actually, strangely, you don't realize that is an engineering thing. It really is, because my great grandmother used to be into puzzles big time.
Anything you can create with your hands, that's me. Like I like.
She's great with her hands.
So you obviously, I was going to ask you. I'm gonna skip past that for Katt.
For Katt's sake, we're gonna skip past that.
I mean, I was gonna ask about all the plumber jokes. You're married to a plumber, so it's endless. But you obviously, preserve or finish the puzzles and capture them, either frame them or epoxy, or I don't know what all you do whenever you go. Do you sell just the puzzle piece, or do you make it? Some of them.
The minute I'm done putting that puzzle together, I snap a picture of it and take it apart and throw it back in the box and start the next one. It's just
that's cool.
And this is funny because the other day him and I were talking, and he's like, "What was that about? About the stereo? About He's like, because he's always fixing them. And do you remember what that conversation was?
Oh, no, because she said, oh, you're not using any of the equipment. Why? I said, well, everything's working perfect. If I don't need to work on something, I don't need to use it. I know that it works fine.
And and so he's like, it aggravates me because now that the work's done, I'm not listening to it. I said, it's like me. You're like, you are more about solving the problem than probably actually. Like, I don't want to look at the picture. I just want to solve the problem, and then I'm done.
Because I'll calibrate both systems so everything is absolutely perfect and dialed in and 100% the way it should be.
And then he's bored.
And then I won't use the system.
Yeah. He's bored. So I'm like, you just want to solve the problem. That's like the biggest thing.
Yeah. Just figure it out, learn. And there's I find myself doing this a lot with many hobbies. You get, you learn really exponentially at first, and then you topple off. And whether or not you want to progress into that to the point to where every technical jargon, every psychological effect, or in any hobby, like riding, mountain biking, right? Like you can get on a bike, ride. If you don't know how to ride a bike, obviously the learning curve is you start out and next thing you know, you're riding, but then once you get off road and all this other stuff, you exponentially learn. But then to get beyond that 80%, it takes so much more time. Like you can spend a couple months from not knowing how to ride a bike to, oh man, yeah, I'm doing jumps and having a good time. But then to get above that, you really have to, and I'm more of I want to learn a lot of stuff and experience everyone else's, hobbies and interactions.
Yep.
I don't necessarily want to be a pro or the person on anything, So and the same thing with the audio. I used to compete, and I ask or USAC competitions and stuff like that. But once you get past like the amateur level and you got all these endorsements, I was like, oh man, I don't want to do all that. That's like a job at that point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like Eric said, building the theater room is the puzzle. Yeah. So he gets it done. He gets a new sub. He plays with it. He does all the calibration, da 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 da. And then I'm like, why aren't you down there? He's like, oh, my work is done.
And speaking of the puzzle, when we first got this house, we lived right down the street. Another house, Katt came and looked at this house while I was at work. And she goes, I think I found us a new place. You can have your own room in the basement. And like she tried to sell it off to me. So when I told her how I was going to do the room, she goes, that doesn't make any sense to me. So when the room was done and she walked in, she's like, wow, I had no idea that it would look anything like this. So it was in her mind, because she wasn't used to those kind of puzzles, obviously. In my mind, I already knew what it was going to look like, where everything was going to go, how it was going to fit. But it was nice to see the excitement on her face, because she's like, wow, this wasn't what I was envisioning when you were talking about it.
Yeah. And to what I just said, as far as like you get so far, you yourself being, that 150 dB system, you are probably well into the 90% of people that understand like, audio, especially when it comes to volume. Yep. And what it takes to go from, oh yeah, I'm 110, 120, 130, now 140. And yeah, once you start getting into that above 140, man, you really have to do a lot of engineering and science and testing and figuring out. And so you're more toward that pro level in that sense, so that's quite an accomplishment, especially in this hobby that everybody is. A lot of people are about bass, So
well, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about it, because there wasn't many people doing it. So it was a lot of trial and error on my part of what was going to work, how it was going to work. I got some guidance from, like from Seaton and Jeff, because those guys have just been in the high performance audio and loud audio for so long. But I just didn't have many other peers to talk to. I knew some guys that were definitely in the 140s with some huge setups, and I was like, man, I just want to take that one step further. But it was a lot of gray area. I mean, it took me a long time to build this space to do 150. So, and a lot of people don't understand that, and it doesn't make any sense. So, at least you guys are being nice. People would call me stupid in the Facebook groups all the time because they didn't understand. Then when they come experience it, then the truth would come out of a lot of it was, well, my wife would never allow this, or I'd never be allowed to spend this kind of money on this, or, something along those lines. I don't think that people necessarily hated it. It's just they didn't understand it. So people would pop their earplugs in. They'd experience it, and they'd be like,
well, even the lady you live with doesn't really understand it, but
yeah. and it is what it is.
And you get people to sign a disclaimer right before.
Yeah,
that's my job. I got it.
Right.
Well,
oh yeah, that's some.
We thought when everybody thought that was comical. First of all, a buddy of mine, his name's Alan. He flew in from Florida, and he asked me. He said, what's the legal liability? He goes, obviously, somebody can get hurt, with this. And he's very well versed in that kind of stuff, of injury lawsuits and stuff like that. And I said, man, that sounds funny. He goes, yeah, it seems kind of silly. He goes, until somebody that you think's your friend isn't your friend. Mm-hmm. And then they're looking, for a payday. So people, when I first said that, like on Facebook and that, they're like, oh, who does this guy think he is? Like you think you're Mr. Cool Guy. And it wasn't that. I think if I had to go to your house and sign a waiver, I would laugh. I'd be like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of funny. Yeah. But is literally just to, I can't have nobody call me 3 months from now and say, hey man, this ringing in my ear hasn't stopped. And, you're going to.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And that's what, no, I totally, being obviously doing competitions, you sign waivers, like 10 or 15 of them, before
the last time I signed a waiver, when I had to go to that trampoline birthday party with my son, they wanted to make sure I wasn't going to kill myself there. So
yeah. I'm
Yep.
surprised they didn't make you pay a deposit for the trampoline.
Yeah, because I'm like 500 pounds, Paul.
Be nice, Paul. Come on, man.
It's like, whoa, wait a minute. No, I hear you, but and that's the thing. It's all about just having fun and having a good time. And man, whenever I got out of the car audio situation, literally the year after someone hit those are the first time that they were hitting like 180 dB in the car. I was like, what? Like, what? I was just like, okay, I got out at the right time, obviously.
I got out of the car audio once they started cracking windshields. That was too much for me. So.
Oh, well, yeah, I was doing that, but they were like, I still don't understand how 108, that's like jet aircraft decibels, it's crazy, but you're talking millions of dollars in that system.
I feel
Yeah.
like after the first few seconds, your
that's-
eardrums just shut down.
Say that again, Ike.
So I feel like after the first few seconds, your eardrums just shut down.
Oh no, you're not even allowed near. You're double. Your earplugs, earmuffs, and shoot. If you're getting into something serious, you're wearing a friggin' helmet too.
Well, most of the time they just take the
For
deck out
that.
of the car. They got the the super long wiring, and they just stand outside of the car. Now they don't even.
Oh yeah, I was doing that. Yeah, even whenever I was in, we had everything was remote. After a certain dB, you weren't even legally allowed in the car because they didn't want to be responsible for anything that happened. They were just like, nope, you got to have a remote.
Oh, look, Jack has real life experience. Jet mechanic in the Navy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy right there, he knows what DB is right there. And yeah, if you're not wearing your protection or
earmuffs
whatever,
and all
and
that, yeah.
something pops, a jet engine pops or something, and you're just explosion of your eardrums, and it's very, very painful.
So I know that you guys kind of gotta get out of here, but we'd love to go ahead and get started on the theater tour so that we can see what your theater looks like, Scott and Katt.
Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just gonna do the theater because there's chords and all this stuff. So
Well, before you leave, I got one final question for you. Then,
Okay.
what is your favorite movie?
What's my favorite movie? I'm gonna say like The Notebook for sure. I'm a chick. I love The Notebook. That was and then yeah.
Have you seen Lost City? That movie is hilarious. And
I feel like I have. I
kind
can't
of a chick flick thing, but
Who's in that one?
Watched it. If it's a chick flick,
it's hilarious.
Who's in that one? Is that
And there's a one scene that just like is so much bass. You're just like, what? That's the scene they chose to shake the whole house.
Oh,
and
that's
just
the one.
everybody
No,
laughed when it
favorite
happened.
bass.
Oh,
It's
well,
got
no,
Sandra Bullock. It's got Sandra Bullock in it.
And then Channing Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you-
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I
When
see
the guy
that.
drops
That
down
one.
inside the armored vehicle, it's like you're like, what? They had grenades and explosions, and then some dude jumps down into a armored vehicle, and it's like,
she'll send me movies. She'll be like, "Oh, this should be one we should check out in the theater downstairs." Because she watches. I don't watch no TV at all. So if a new movie or something's coming out on disc or that, she'll be like, "Oh, we should check this out downstairs." But you like all the Transformers movies?
Oh yeah, I love the Transform. I'm just when people ask me questions, I'm kind of bad at coming up with like on the spot answers. Like, what's your favorite song? I don't know.
You
but
you like the Jumanjis too with the
Yeah, there it is.
anything with the
Awesome.
rock in it. She gets a little
Oh,
excited.
yeah.
So, not Channing Tatum, The Rock, huh?
Yeah.
No, that's my hall pass, The Rock. So
Oh,
Hey, there
okay.
you go.
Yeah,
You gotta have
we're
one.
always-
My hall pass was Britney Spears, but Britney's been
She's
acting a little
so-
crazy lately,
she's
so I
so
got to
up to
change
two
my hall pass.
You got a lifetime hall pass, man. You can't just change them every 2 weeks, Scott.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, so yeah, I'm sure I'd love to see the behind the scenes, if you would, unedited theater tour or whatever you're willing
Yeah.
to show that's on a PG channel.
I'm gonna leave the room and while he does the tour. So it was nice chatting with you guys, and
We
thanks for
definitely appreciate you getting on and joining us.
Thank
So
you.
I
Thank
really
you for
enjoy
joining.
listening
Yep.
to you
Thank you
guys.
for letting me be part of the
Band
boys
back and
club.
forth with your channel and stuff. So, we definitely appreciate you joining us this evening.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, bye fellas. Getting
Thank
out of the
you,
way.
Katt.
Good night.
Hopefully I don't knock anything over. Bye guys.
Hello, Giles. Thank you for joining, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat. I know we have a lot of people. There's Eric, there's Michael, there's James Coleman, Scardio is in the chat. We have Oprah in the chat, Average Guy Hi-Fi. And am I missing out? There's Jack in the chat. There's Coley Gray. Yeah,
Coley,
thank
what's
you
up, bud?
guys
Oh,
for
I
joining us, man.
I recognize a lot of those names.
Yeah,
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming over.
you're
So,
bringing all the boys to the club.
bringing them all over. So, those of you that would like to be a guest on while Scott's getting his theater tour set up here, those of you that would like to be a guest on the Home Theater Hub, by all means, please send us an email to hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Ike's channel, which is Easy HT Tech. And then also, if you wouldn't mind, show me a little bit of love over here too to Horizon Home Theater. Thank you so much for joining. So go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. Go ahead and send this to a couple of your friends. One thing that I also, while Scott's still doing that, one thing that I also want to share is that we've actually just started a Facebook group. So I'm going to bring that up here so that we can share that. Where's that at? So we just started our Facebook group, Home Theater Hub. We'd like to welcome anyone that wants to be, part of that group. We're just going to have, basically, we're going to have, let's see if I can get rid of that chat here. Get rid of that. Sorry. So we're just going to have, basically posts. We welcome content creators. We welcome everyone to come on there. Post what you got going on your channel. Talk about hi-fi. Talk about home theater. Whatever you find interesting to talk about. Dealing with home theater, or even if you saw a great theater tour or something like that. By all means, post it up on this channel. Come on over and join our community.
Yep. Okay, Scott. So,
About fell asleep and all that talk. What were you saying?
man.
Sub what?
Yeah. So, Scott, are you using your phone? How do you want to do this?
Well, I'm using my camera on this little tripod. I
Okay.
don't know
So
how.
I am going to So I'm going to switch you over to Don. Can you end your live screen, your screen share, and I'm going to switch.
Yeah, just key in on him, not me.
Yeah. So end your live stream so I can switch you because you got too many connections. Okay, we got you now, Scott.
Okay. So I'm sitting in my seat. This is I calibrated this whole room. I don't want to shake the camera too much to make everybody sick. So I calibrated this room for 2 seats. There's 4 seats in here, but all the calibration's done for these 2 main seats. So what you're looking at here that's a screen that we made It's 132 inch, 16 by 9 screen. And what I did was I just drywalled the wall, sanded it, mudded it, and then I used a white paint that JVC recommended to use with their projectors. And we just painted it, did a black border around, black velvet on the sides, black velvet on the top. And then subwoofers that I have underneath the screen, because they go right to the bottom of the screen, we put black velvet on that too to help, just help kill any of the reflections. It's super dark in this room, and I brought our lighting in here too. It's still kind of hard to see. Let's see. I turn this light around, maybe to see a little bit better. But it's still really hard to see. Well, anyway, yeah, you can see it's some. But in the front, left and right speakers are flanking the screen, and then the center channels down here. And basically, what you're looking at up here is that's the JTR 228s for left, center, and right. They're dual 8-inch horn speakers, 1200 watt RMS. They look like that surround. Here, let me get a better picture because I use all the same speakers for left, center, right, left, and right rear surrounds as well. I just took the grills off these so everybody could see a little bit better. So that's for the left, center, right surround, and left surround are those JTRs. And then the subwoofer underneath that is a JTR Captivator 6000, which is 10 hertz tune box, dual 18-inch drivers, known as also the Captivator 4000, but I ordered them from JTR with the upgraded amplifier, which is 6,000 watt, 220 volt. So in this room, right behind these seats, I got, what do I got back here now? Is there 4? Yeah. 4 dual 18 Captivator 6000s. So there's 8 18s right behind these seats. Each side of the room has a dual 18 Captivator 6000. And then up front underneath the screen is 2 more Captivator 6000. So there's currently 8. I will be adding 1 more because we're going to go from floor to ceiling on one of them at the very end of the room. So there'll be 18 18s in this room. So that'd be 18 18s, and each 18 will see 3,000 watt.
Is that just because you want to roll 18 18s off the tongue, or what's
Yeah,
the
it's
and the other?
it's just easier to say, and also by bringing one of the subwoofers closer to the ceiling, it actually even though I get a super smooth room response from like 7-8 hertz and up, what I noticed with the RTJ setup in the living room when I was calibrating that setup is having subs at different points, especially the higher you go up, is it actually helps with your modal frequencies and stuff like that as well too. So it'll look cool as soon as you open the door. You're going to be staring floor to ceiling, 418s right in your face, and it's pretty much going to be. I got like I'm going to have to take the feet off of both subs, but it'll be a 1/2-inch clearance of both of those subs stacked on top of each other. So it's 8 subs in this room, all of them identical drivers, identical amps, identical port tunes, so they all behave the same. Also right behind me, which it might be hard for you guys to see, but I'll try. So this is SPL meter, SPL lab, calibrated to term lab specs, just because we have a lot of guests over here. This is right by the headrest of the seat, off the back wall about a foot. We'll plug that in for people just like, oh, what did I just experience? Or, what can I handle? And then it'll read one. It doesn't start read until 120 dB. So, we'll do like 130, 140, or 150 if people want to experience that. For the rear surrounds, using the JTR HT110s, which is the 2-way 10-inch coaxial 750 watt surrounds. And then for the in-ceiling, which my ceiling looks like crap because we've lost so many pieces of it, and we just keep piecing it back together until we just do 1-inch plywood on it all. It's kind of hard to see. But we got 4 Klipsch 8-inch Pro in-ceilings for Atmos. So on the bed layer is 5 of the JTR 228s, 2 of the JTR 110s, 8 of the Captivator 6000s, and then 4 of the Klipsch Pro in ceiling 8-inch.
Just for
Project-
everyone that's listening, what is your normal listening level? Because I know everybody, you're talking about 150 dB, 140 dB. What is your normal listening level when you're watching a movie?
If her and I are going to be down here for a whole movie start to finish, will probably be 8 to 10 dB below reference, but my normal house curve on my sub is usually about positive 12 or 14. So for the mids and highs will be, say, 8 to 10 below reference, and then if my subs are 14, then you're probably 4 over reference for the bass.
So you're listening at 85 dB,
Yeah.
on average,
And then there'll be certain movie scenes that her and I will want to check out at a more spirited level. I mean, I'll listen to it just as loud as you can, is that you want to stand it or that you want to, go through. The high dB stuff, I usually only do if I'm trying out a new track or new music to add, or if we're doing a big event, or if people actually driving or flying out to check out the setup. I mean, then those people are getting 150 dB demos if they want it.
Yeah. So one thing I do, like, what you express a lot is, you're doing this for you. You're doing this to try to reach a certain level, and you don't ever. I wouldn't say fault, but you don't ever put anybody else down for not for however their system is and everything else. You're always very supportive of whatever anybody else is doing. So and you say look, I know this is a passion of mine, and I'm really pushing the extreme levels here. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, when we first got this house and we started entertaining a lot for the audio video side, my first events, this room, I had the Klipsch THX Ultra set up, and I had a room full of SVS subs. I had 2 PB16s and 5 PB2000s in this room. And then I switched all over to PowerSound Audio. And then I just wanted to my whole take on this hobby is, especially when I started getting into PowerSound Audio and JTR, is I didn't find out about those companies until I went to somebody else's house and experienced it. Because most of us could just go listen to SVS, or we could go listen to Valadyne, whatever our local home theater shop stores were carrying pretty much. So a buddy of mine bought PowerSound Audio. I went and listened to it and I was blown away. So then I bought it. And then I went to Exponent and heard JTR and I was blown away by that. So then I was like, I just wanted to introduce something to people like, hey, this is just some stuff that you can check out. I pre-ordered the PB16s before they were released, and I just invited a bunch of people over that wanted to check it out, but they didn't know if they were worth it or not. Whatever anybody, I've gone to, man, the truth of it is I'll come to your house and listen to your soundbar. Can we order a pizza and get a case of beer? I mean,
you're the one person that, because you're, like I said, you're at that pro level, especially with the volume and the dB. I have literally made the statement, like, that's crazy. Like, but I was like, but he said I don't listen to it at that loud. I don't watch movies at it
no.
loud. Like, I watch at normal volume. I do this because I enjoy it. And then I was like, okay, that's checkmate. Well, yeah, of course. Then I have no comment on that. That if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I mean, I used to friggin' have a friggin' $10,000 system in my car that was worth more than the car because I grew up poor, doing competitions, So yeah,
Yep.
you at that point, yeah, it's a hobby, it's fun, but you're not the type that's like judging anyone because you don't have 150 dB. Oh, well then, you don't know audio and you don't know home theater. You're just like, no,
and
this is me. This is what I like to
that,
do, and it's amazing. And it's like, yeah, it is amazing engineering feat.
yeah, this isn't. I tell a lot of people this isn't a real good idea. I mean, really, because Well,
I literally was like, dude, that's insane. Like, what? In the house? Like, what? Like, I was shattering windows and I had
yeah,
to tighten like mechanical parts in the engine from the audio,
Yep.
and it's like, what? Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And you don't know until, it happens. You're like, oh, there's some bolts loosening. Didn't know
because
that was a thing.
once you get past, I for the people that just want to come experience it, I can understand that. But to actually want to build this in your home, it doesn't make a lot of sense because for one, you're not going to use it. This system gets used to its capabilities. I mean, honestly, 4 times a year. That's a lot of money and a lot of time on something you use 4 times a year.
Right.
For the levels that we listen to, I could have easily done with 2 or 3 of the JTR subs easily, no doubt. Because I started hitting my first 150 in here off of 6 subs, and I moved to 4, and then I moved to 14, and then to 16. Then I'm going to be moving to 18, and that's just because for me, I like to walk into a room and just wow myself. Because most of the time it's just us enjoying the hobby by ourselves. And if I walk in and I see subs floor to ceiling, that puts a smile on my face. Well, life is short. I'd like to smile. I'd like to smile more. So, but no, everybody. It's. I just you enjoy the hobby for what it is, and for everybody else that means something different. I can't stress enough to everybody. If we all had the same exact gear, doing the same exact thing, you have any idea how boring this would be?
Oh
None
my
of us
God.
would be. Yeah, why? I mean, yeah, why would I want to
Sure.
come listen to yours? You got, we're all, no, I believe our system is just an extension of our personality. And I love checking out people's rooms layout, what equipment they went with, how they have their calibrations done. And it usually fits in well with your personality. I can be very loud and outspoken. My system kind of says that sometimes. So,
So I must be cheap but impressive.
So let's talk about your equipment rack, right? So
oh, yeah.
what do
Oh, you
you
want to
have
see
in
my
there?
rack, Ike?
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
Well, your
He
home
didn't get
theater
it. He didn't
rack.
get enough on the other channel. He wants to see
Yeah,
all
we
the
want to
bolts
see your home
and all.
theater rack and just kind of walk us through what you got
Okay.
and how are you powering all those subwoofers you have, man? Because
Okay, all the subs have their own built-in amp. Like I said, 220 volt. This is speaker power, 6,000 amps in each sub. So I have 8 dedicated lines. Well, I actually have 9 dedicated 220 volt lines coming to this room because not only do I have 8 of the amps, one for each sub, as you can see on the bottom there, that's actually another speaker power plate amplifier, 220 volt. That powers the butt kickers because I found out that speaker power is one about the only amps that'll actually play down to 5 hertz flat without any roll off. The butt kickers are good to 5 hertz. A lot of the crowns and the burr ringers that I was trying to use, the speaker power had 2 to 3 times the amount of output at 8, 9, 10 hertz. Not just because it was more powerful, but because the other amps, they're like safety features built in. They wouldn't allow them to play that low. Speaker power, though, they don't start tapering off until after 5 hertz.
So
So
18's right behind your seats, not enough tactile base.
you still have
not
butt
well.
kickers too. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, each has a butt kicker LFE bolted to it, but it serves different purposes.
He's a smart
Overall,
man. He doesn't want to lose his hearing. That's what it is. Is he still wants to get that tactile at normal listening volumes. That's
Yeah,
what
so
it's about.
just shift your intestines
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
and lose your hearing.
Is we got a house full of kids, so if I want to do something at 11 o'clock at night, I have a preset in the DSPs that pretty much turns the subs down 15 dB, jacks the butt kickers up 10 dB, and you're still getting a great tactile feel, but the subs are putting in very little work.
Yep.
Right above
You're
that,
using like 1% of those things whenever you're watching it normal.
oh yeah. The light on them don't even flash. It's getting a signal. So that's how much. Yeah, that's
Yep.
how little.
That's what I figured. I was like, nah, those things aren't even. They're like, what? Are we on yet?
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So Jack Van says he's going to be in Chicago next week. So I think that was a hint.
So the amp right up from that is the Sunfire Cinema Grand. I'm using that to power the in-ceiling Atmos speakers. And then on top of that is the Panasonic 820 4K player. Then the AVM 70 processor. On top of that is the Zapiti Pro. Behind that is Apple TV. Above that is the Rotel 1080 two-channel amp that powers the two back surrounds. On top of that is the Blue Sound Node. And then the amp on the top is the Rotel 1095 5-channel amp that does 350 watts to the 5 left, center, right, and the 2 side surround speakers.
And what are
So-
those, like 104 dB sensitive, something like that?
What, the speakers?
The your LCR.
Yeah, I think they're around. I think these are 101 or 102. Yeah,
so
and that,
push those.
well, no, and what's funny too is everybody's like, oh, well, they're rated at 1200 watt RMS. You only push in 350 to them. I'm not even using, even during our most spirited sessions, none of these amplifiers get warm. You know, I'm in a 14 by 16 foot room, you know, and I used high efficiency speakers with a lot of power.
Well, what class are the amplifiers? Aren't they all class? Are they class D or
AB.
A? Oh,
AB.
they're all AB.
Yeah, the Rotels are all AB, and all the speaker
Okay.
powers are Class D.
Yeah, because the Rotels, I'm surprised they should get a little warm, not hot, but
Yeah, no, they do. Well, I mean, they just get warm sitting around. But I'm saying is that if you listen to a whole movie at a spirited level, the temperature doesn't change; they're just at their normal warmth. And then
gotcha.
the Sunfire amp, you know, that's Bob Carver's technology with the switching power supply. So that amp never gets hot. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that thing gets hot, you got issues. That means it's broken.
So we got a question for you. Is your basement full concrete, or how many times do you have to fix a drywall screw
Well,
you popped?
The wall behind me and the 2 side walls are concrete walls with paneling on them. The wall that I had to build to split the basement is staggered stud, double drywall, well, plywood, then double drywall. So now the ceiling, I used acoustic tiles, and the first time actually that Youth Man was over here and I gave him the first demo when I only had 4 of the JTR subs, a huge part of the ceiling fell down in his lap. So the whole ceiling's held together with big fender washers and Gorilla tape, and that time too, actually, we lost the door frame. It blew the door out of the basement, like it broke the frame. So then I switched over to a solid wood door, and then we tore the door frame out. And we put 3 studs next to each other, and then kind of like bolted them all together with carriage bolts.
We know a guy.
I hope your insurance
Anytime
company
you
is
need,
not watching.
yeah, Chuck is the man when it comes to building. He's the guy that you need to talk to whenever it comes to any of your constructional.
Yeah, I think that's something people need to realize, right? Is you have put a lot of effort into preparing your room, right? To be able to handle that, right? So you're not just throwing, you know, all those amazing speakers in just a room for nothing, right? So there's a lot of treatment, there's a lot of preparation, and just making sure that the room is able to handle all of that.
Well, one of the biggest compliments that we get on this room, I mean, people love the way it sounds, so that's just a compliment to me that I did a good calibration on the room. But the biggest thing is they're like, for a 14-16 room, I thought would be sitting in a closet. They said it actually feels spacious with all these subs. Well, it's because I used what little space I had pretty wisely. All the subs behind me, these seats still fully recline. It's just the orientation of the subs work perfect to hold my rear surrounds. The side speakers, the subs I chose, the configuration worked perfect to hold the side surrounds. And then the front speakers worked as stands to hold the left and the right. So I was just using as much as space. Hold on. What's Katt's in the chat there? That's her. I don't think he knew it would go to this level when it was built. No, obviously we all sit around and daydream and think about stuff. I honestly, when I first started building this room, my goal was for a 140, and I hit it not easy, but easy enough. I mean, it took 14 18s from Power Sound Audio to hit it. And I was like, I wonder what a 150 would be like in here. But I tell you what, moving up 10 dB is a lot of power.
Yeah.
You're using up a lot of power, and yeah,
But do you know electricians? Since you're in the trade, I'm like, how many 20 amp circuits do you got? You got to know some of them.
I ran all the electrical in this room. I did all the
Oh, wow.
220 for each sub. Yeah, I did.
What's your
See,
main line? What's your main feed? You don't have a 200 amp
amp,
breaker.
200 amp, and then I did a sub panel of 100 amp too.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I'm surprised. Well,
I'm surprised that's enough.
still got to
but-
turn some stuff off, probably.
Yeah. Well, and that'll be the problem, like, because I just added a sub, and when I add the next one, I don't know how much available power I'll actually have, but it's just going to be a cool factor for me to just be like, oh, you know, when I walk in, I see what I want to see, and everything not already getting used to its potential. You know, I already talked to ComEd about running a whole nother 200 amp service. It's very expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Scott just goes
Yeah.
to the neighbor. He's like, "Hey, can you turn your AC off for a couple minutes? I'm gonna play my."
That's
know,
that's what I was saying, because you got to know
You
you
gotta
need
have
to
the
make
neighbors
friends
turning
with
off
someone
their
at the power
lights, man.
company, and you can get that circuit. Well, it depends on where you're at on the line, because that's what it is. Because the main line can only hold. Anyways, it's another whole engineering thing. But
Yeah,
I was like, man, I don't even know how
get us
you're
down that rabbit hole.
pulling
right?
that many amps in that
Well,
thing.
you know how I mean, we've all been in an issue before. Like if you like in our last house in the living room, we had to set up. You crank it up, and the lights in that one room would dim down a little bit. You know. Well, now that I draw up both sides of the grid, is that like if the kids are upstairs and they got a light on and the base hits, it's drawing down all the lights in the whole house out just because anything hooked up to you. It's during the most extreme demos, I mean, there's obviously not enough power available because it's dimming down the lights throughout the whole house
Right.
instead of just in the room you're using it.
So you mentioned that you had a JVC. What JVC are you using?
Oh, the old dinosaur I got strapped up there. That is a JVC 590R. So obviously it's not a laser. The NX series was before the laser. This is the one right before the NX series.
Yeah, it's still a great projector. You know, the JVCs. Is that the E shift, the 4K
Yeah.
E shift? Yeah. So
It's their last iteration of the E shift. Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
I actually have one of the older JVCs also.
It has a better contrast, right?
And
Doesn't it?
we love it. That's why I have it.
yeah,
up there.
unless you're needing brighter or something. Which, how big did you say your room was? I mean,
16
14
you're-
by-
by 16, and then it's a 135-inch screen, but it's obviously 100% light controlled.
yeah, I was okay. Yep, exactly. That's where I was going to go next. I was like, well, if you're 100% light control, it doesn't matter at that point. You got more than enough light output.
Yeah, I got two concerns about that. Is one is I've seen NX series and I've seen the laser, and the picture does look a little crisper, does look a little better, but I'm like, is it worth the price jump for me? And honestly, another thing is this, even though we securely studded and made special mounts and went with a Chief anti-vibrational mount for this projector, it still shakes a lot during heavy demo scenes. And I'm like, man, if I throw a new $10,000 laser up there, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it just vibrating around and slamming around.
Yeah,
You got a good point,
the
because
NZ7 is 50 pounds flat.
Yeah.
I think it's 49.9, so basically 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I've been about just hurting it.
Yeah, I know. So it's a beefy projector. It's not a lightweight at 50 pounds. So
a lot, but I think is where he was thinking, like the difference between light bulb projectors or a lot of mechanical stuff where your lasers are so finite little, and you're like literally, would you walk up to your NZ9 and just take a hammer to it and go pap, 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 not like breaking the shell, but would you just sit there and hammer on it the whole movie? Your bulb, the bulb may break, but most of the mechanical parts inside there are just, it's old school mechanical. It's like, it's
And
mechanical.
we haven't had no problem. And I had an Epson before this, and something got past its screen, and it put little artifacts on the screen. And I'm not going to sit here and watch unless
Mm.
So if this projector broke, I wouldn't be heartbroken about it. We've had it for 4.5 years. It is what it is. Obviously, I don't want it to break. But if I was
If I
to,
get 5 years out of a projector, I would be pretty happy.
I mean, there's going to be a couple of used projectors at M-Wave, so I'm just saying.
I
Katt
don't know if there'll be
Katt
any
might
room
prefer
next to the subwoofer.
Katt might prefer
Yeah.
that to another subwoofer. So you got to choose wisely, projector or subwoofer.
Well, I could put the sub in the back, and Kat could have the projector in her lap.
So before you go projector, maybe you can go with this that I'm going to have Ike share here. Share that screen, Ike.
Okay, give me. I gotta move my screen shares around
No problem.
because I had Scott on that big screen share. So let's get you live. Yep.
So I don't know if you guys know or not, but TCL Digital Trends broke this. TCL announced the 163-inch micro LED
Yeah.
just the other day.
Did you see the price for that thing?
That's
I absolutely did.
commercial. Great. That's amazing. Shipping, doorways. Who has a wall or a space? I love it. I love the technology. I love where it's going. But I still think whenever they start to figure out a way to make panels to where you can start with 9 and then just double up 8, 9, 18, whatever the math is beyond that, and I'm silly with that.
But here's
That-
my problem with panels is panels definitely could be more precise, and obviously, but if I'm going to watch a movie, or especially back-to-back movies or any kind of marathon, a projected image is so much easier. I'm very sensitive to just extreme light output, I guess. And a projector is I understand if we're doing a critical viewing that most TVs are going to smoke a projector, but overall, it's more comfortable for me, for sure.
And honestly, I probably shouldn't say this, but I just don't trust TCL enough to spend that amount of money on a TV that they make.
100. So what I thought was
a lot of money.
Right. No, I agree with you. It's definitely a lot of money. But what I like is that, competitors for a lesser size TV, a Samsung or, your LG, they're in the $200,000 and $300,000 range for this. And this particular is coming in as at 111,000, once you convert it to American dollars. So, I mean, what that shows me is the price for this type of technology is obviously coming down, right? So more and more that they produce these TVs, the more and more that people are, so if you look at it here, LG 136 inch is 150,000. So it's
but coming down for what? I mean, the people who can afford it at this price point would have afforded it at the other price point. I mean, if you're paying $111,000, you could buy $150,000 TV. It don't matter. It's still the same. It's still the same bracket of client.
I disagree with that because the reason they make a Maserati versus the Ferrari is the same exact reason, right? So the Maserati is a cheaper Ferrari.
Yeah, but if you save a couple of months, you can still end up with a Ferrari. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're still within reach. You're not exactly outside the club. You're just in the bathroom of the club. See what I'm saying?
Again, this isn't, to me, it's not even about the price. I'm excited about the technology, but logistics will always overtrump, because remember, I'll pick on Don. All right, Don, you're I'm not trying to,
I'm about to love
put
this
you on the
one.
spot, but Don,
Oh, I'm gonna love this one.
you're well off.
Look at him.
Let's
I'm
just
not
say
well
that.
off.
You're not in the lower bracket, let's say, right? Consumable products, especially TVs, whenever the manufacturers don't even make money on the sale of the TV, they make money off of the apps that they get to put on them and all this other stuff, right? For your average person that has an 8-foot ceiling, and I'm sorry to say, 10 by 8-foot living room, how big do you think the TV
Well,
can be?
everybody has a use case, right? So
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah, no, we're not. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
talking the use case scenario,
I
because
don't
in
think
that case,
TCL.
then
I
the
don't think
sky's the
TCL.
limit. You could have. At that point, I would go to Ike's argument that, hey, someone that could afford that could already afford a 500-inch multi-panel system in whatever wall they want in their mansion.
Well,
You
with
go,
you
oh,
saying
whatever,
that,
$500,000. Hey, I want 500 inches on
with
this.
you saying that I'm well off, which I'm far from well off, but if I
Yeah.
were well off, I'm not spending $200,000 on a TV. I'm not even spending $100,000 on a TV, to be honest with you. But the chances of me spending $100,000 versus $200,000 is probably 90% versus
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that's yes, and I hear what you're saying, but bring that down to, let's just say that TV's only $6,000, right? 100 and
I
whatever.
would have already had two. No.
Exactly. And where would how wide is 160-inch? 160-inch, right?
Yeah.
Was
So
it?
my just
How
to put
wide is that?
my,
How
my
many? Most people don't have a wall that's 12 foot wide to even put the damn thing on.
You could buy Christy Griffin and put a
Yeah.
163-inch projector screen and still not pay. that
Oh
amount
yeah,
for
well,
that
and that's
TCL.
a good point that you bring up, because at that point, at that price, you could get
I thought the Griffin
Barco, Christy Griffin, and
I mean, the
the sky's your limit on
80,000
size.
ones, you can still
You
get
know?
the 80,000 Christie or something.
Well,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
still got to worry about your center channel on the panel too, because they're still trying to perfect above and below center. And a Phantom center, is really only good for one seat, maybe two, not two rows of seating, not like having a center channel behind the screen.
Yep.
So
Yep.
a big screen TV like that in a wall in your living room, if you have the room, and that's cool. But
That's
still in the
another
theater,
great point.
Yeah.
Yep, because you can only Phantom so much until you get to. Yeah, okay, there you go. That's 150,000, right? That
Like,
can
your credit
produce
card.
a
Yeah, check out the lumen. and that stuff.
500-inch screen. It will and be visible during the day, whatever inside scenario. That can probably do some outdoor
That
stuff.
is 50,000 lumens, man.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and you get free shipping on that, so that's a scam.
Well, it probably weighs 300 pounds, so that's probably a good savings, actually.
Yeah, you can even make monthly payments on that.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I think I just hit order. Monthly payments. Oh, order. Click. But yeah, no, Scott, I like exactly. Once you get to a certain size, it's not that our brain won't put something center, but it's going to be so much more difficult with room acoustics if your speaker has to be on the floor, versus, sort of off the floor by, 20 inches or, a foot or whatever. It will make a huge difference if you're just like, now I have to put it on the floor.
We have our center about 14 inches off the floor, right at the bottom of the screen, which is fine because we only have one row of seating. You're not going to do that in a theater with two rows of seating.
Yep.
Or the people in the second row aren't going to hear nothing. I mean, not from the center channel perspective.
Yeah. No, it just brings up a point, that this this technology is definitely coming down in price. Um, I, I I have a lot of friends that that are middle class people that definitely have in the areas that I've lived in, they have a 12-foot wall or a 14-foot wall that something like this could be hung on.
I hear
That-
you're very well off, Don. Congratulations.
yeah, I wish. That's why I work
Uh,
jobs because I'm so well off.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
no,
look, he has his own wall. His wall promotes him behind him.
my $120 Govee curtain. Yeah. No,
Dude, but honestly, that TV is so expensive. No matter what currency you put it, you can put it in Nigeria, naira, whatever it is. It is expensive, bro. And
You could put it in ruples, and I couldn't afford
it
it.
is. You can't afford it in any currency.
look, I don't even want to buy a car for $100,000, or so, and that's where all the trucks and everything else are moving to right now. I own another business that I use a truck and a trailer every day, and I mean, if I were to go buy a new GMC, 250. 2,500 right now. I mean, I'm looking at $100,000 for a truck right now,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's
Well,
we
in
just
contrast to this $1 billion thing that you well-off people can obviously investigate. Shu has just announced a new subwoofer that's
Oh
like
yeah,
$1,200. That's 111 dB CE
yeah. Dog, can you
2010
pull that up?
1 meter measurement for one subwoofer.
Can you pull that
So
up,
yeah,
dog?
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
get.
I met Dr. Shu. He's an awesome guy. I met him a couple years ago at the Exponent show.
Oh
Very
yeah,
nice guy.
he's. If I was an engineer in just audio, that's probably what I would probably be. This right here, but the TN1 is what you're looking for. Go to
Yeah,
the
he's
main
already
page,
sold
and
out.
they have a TN1 is what you're looking at. I don't even know how you got there. That's not the main page.
Yeah, I think you when you just search shoe, it's gonna take you to that page.
No,
New
see,
products.
Yeah, new. It's at the very top. Oh, it's
Yeah.
sold out already. Never mind. Well, yeah, there it is.
You
Yep.
need a $200 deposit. That's an interesting strategy. It's already sold out. Is it sold out, or just sometimes
No,
you just market it sold out?
the pre-orders sold out. You can't pre-order. He was giving a $200 discount or $100 discount for pre-orders, and
Yeah.
I think he sold out of all the pre-orders with the special pricing.
They look good
Gotcha.
though, and they look pretty compact, right?
Yeah.
He made
That's the thing. 18 and a half by 18 and a half.
Yeah, he made them a certain height so you could put your left and right speakers on them and use them as stands.
That's actually pretty genius, to be honest. And you can lay them on the side. So,
Mhm.
and they're only going to be 18 and a half inches tall if you lay them on the side. I mean, these things are more capable. This is the kind of, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but most of the time people are like, oh, let's make it like 40 inches deep, and it's like, well, ooh, that's pretty, and still have it like 20 inches wide or something. It's like, you can't hide that. You just, you could lay it on its side behind a couch
Yeah,
or
they look. Don, can you scroll on the pictures? There's one where they have it like in the living room setup. If you just hit the arrow, yeah, that one. No, next one. It is pretty compact. Like just taking a look at it, it is a far cry from our favorite monoliths and
yeah. And it's ported with the ports down firing. Yep. I literally, Miguel and me but I called him and he sent me a article on it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's the reason I was calling you. So, but
They offer a great. I mean, I don't have no association with Dr. Hugh, but that setup that you're looking right there with his speakers and his subs, that's a awesome setup for anybody to have. I bet that sounds absolutely amazing.
I have shoe subs.
Yeah.
I have shoe subs up front, and then I have SVS for near fields subs.
So what's the frequency range on this? Does anybody know?
Yeah, it's like
14 hertz?
14 hertz or something for the
16
low
to
end.
whatever it is. Yeah,
So
16 hertz. The CE 2010 at 1 meter is 111 dB. The 30 or whatever. If you scroll down, I think, and you can hit specifications, more specifications. Yeah. And you can start seeing the CE 2010 if you scroll down. But I mean, people don't understand the and these are CE 2010 measurements, but they're at 1 meter. And it says that's massive amounts of dB. This is one sub. Remember, this is one sub you're talking about at $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 look at that. CE 2010, 126.7 dB in the 40 to 63 range, which is that punch that most people really like. That's the true range where people are like, "Oh my god, the bass is amazing." 126 dB for one friggin' sub. That's crazy.
But that's at 1 meter though, right? So
Yeah.
you will lose some of that, depending on your seating position.
Hey, I like to sit 1 meter away from my screen, man.
That would be nice.
Yeah. That would be fun. Okay, Don. I know you got an unboxing that you want to do.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. I got to get going, guys.
Scott is like, I'm out of here.
It's about time for a commercial break while Don sets up.
Yeah.
I know Scott.
Yeah.
4 a.m. comes early, so I appreciate you guys. Hanging out. We've been hanging out for 2 hours. It doesn't even feel anything like that. So that's
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
know
and
it does. Oh man, you already booted him?
No,
What the
I
hell?
did not.
I think they were done with me.
No.
Oh, you're leaving? Oh, well, get out of here.
fire that board operator.
No.
Listen, everyone that's a subscriber of our channel, make sure you go over and pay Scott some love and subscribe to their channel. Check out their videos. They definitely got some different content going on there. I think every Friday night you do an AV show on the channel. Is that correct, Scott?
Yeah, or every other Friday, or I drop it on a Monday. Just it's a whenever I have time AV night, but it's called Friday Night AV because that was the premise behind it all. Friday nights I get out and just hang out with everybody if it was a guest or just me chatting with everybody for an hour or so, and then on some Wednesday nights, Katt and I get on and do our thing for Scott Katt podcast. Or it's just hit or miss. It's a hobby. Do on the side, try to do as much as we can. Pretty much, that's all it is.
Yeah, no, look, we appreciate the support that you've given us. I know you've had Ike on the channel. You've also have had myself on the channel. So look, you guys are welcome here anytime. You know how we normally do this. I like to have people just pop in, pop out whenever they want to, just to have a just a chat about home theater. So that's what this is all about. So you guys have an open invite whenever you care to return. By all means, you don't need an invite. So just pop in the channel. You got the link.
You got
Thank
the link.
you again so much thank you so much again for your support. Thanks again for the theater tour. Definitely appreciate you sharing your theater with us. And
hey, man, a couple months we're all going to be hanging out together in person, so that'll be a nice change.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
Bring your big liver, because us Kansas City folks.
Oh, you remember I told you Paul's the tour guide for Kansas City because he lives about 20 minutes from the Civic Center.
Oh, I will be putting together I'll be putting together an itinerary for places to hit locally, and then for anybody that wants to do after hours. I'll have a thing planned, so we'll be good. So it'll be fun for
Alright.
entertainment. And Jessica, she'll come along for after. She doesn't give a shit about the audio, the stuff, the equipment. She doesn't care about the equipment. But once the event, after hours, and we're going to either concerts or bars and stuff like that, oh, she's like, oh, I'm there. So
Listen, those of you that are in the chat, hang on, because we're gonna continue with the show. Scott's gonna leave us, but just wanted to pay some homage to him. Thanks again for all the support in the community. Thanks for the support to Ike and my channel. We really appreciate you.
No doubt, man. Great group of guys. I mean, we're all like a family, pretty much just helping each other out, supporting each other, and we're just here for a good time.
And Katt,
Yep.
thank you so much for joining. Also, really appreciate another perspective from the women's point of view. So thank you so much for that. Also,
All right, you guys have a good night. Have a good show.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
later,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Bye.
So
right.
we're going to do something. We're going to roll to something a little bit different than what we normally have done in the past. So what I'd like to do is I've got a little piece of equipment that I just got in not too long ago. Ike did a theater tour, not a theater tour, a review on the Arvolution Player One 4K, I believe it was. Correct, Ike?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch some cameras around, and we're going to do a live unboxing of the Arvolution Player One 8K.
Okay.
Thanks to Raphael. My notes here, right? This is my notes, guys. Just so you know, this is how prepared I am for the show. That's what my notes consist of. We like to free flow things here. So I'm gonna go ahead. I switched that. You got that camera switched.
I'm gonna get you on full screen. So
All right.
hopefully you got your pants on, bro.
Yeah, man. I got
We
the
don't
camera.
want
So
real time accidents.
yeah, man. So let me move this mic over here so you can hear me a little bit better.
You're gonna be blocking the unboxing though. Jeez.
Yeah, well, I got to switch the camera. You're going to see a top-down view here in a second.
I mean, we don't need to hear you that much until after you got it out of the box.
Let me switch this camera. Give me 1 second. Yo, you're on my phone screen. So can you put up the let's see.
You want me to
Cancel
switch
that.
to your main cam as the top down?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a top down right now. Let's see. Turn that camera turned off. So let me turn it on and turn it off again. All right, if you can switch to that other camera that I got up there.
Okay, let me do that. I'll switch. Boom.
All right, so this is the unboxing of the Arvolution Player One 8K.
Isn't it crazy? Like when we're doing the unboxing, the day I dropped the video for the 4K player, that's when we found out that there's the 8K player.
Yeah,
And now you're doing the 8K player, and now there's a new one coming out.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. We got some news about a new player,
but
and I actually reached out
I
to
have some.
Raphael about that.
Yeah, I have some inside scoop on that new player, but I'll let you get done with this 8K player, and then we can talk about the supposedly signature one. And
So as you can see, it is double boxed. Let's see if I can unbox it here without dropping everything.
yeah, you don't want to drop it.
Yeah, no. Okay. So what we got in the top here, It's a separate box. I believe all your power cords and remotes are going to be there. Now this just does come from the UK area, so there are several different plugs for all regions in here. They send you a multitude of plugs. You got HDMI cord that comes with it, batteries, a couple Bluetooth antennas, I believe. This looks like an IR extender. And then you got your remote. Let's see.
I'm not hearing near enough crinkling.
Not hearing enough crinkling going on. I want to see if the remote is backlit or not. So I'm going to pop these batteries in and see if this is actually backlit. There is some backlighting on the power. I don't see it on all the other buttons, but I do see some backlighting on the power button. All right, so that's what's in the accessory box.
So it looks like an IR remote. Is that because you
Yeah.
can program it, or is it just an IR remote?
You can program it. I think it's one of the best remotes that I have. Talking about the 4K version, but the 8K is probably not any different.
So we got the QR code for the manual. All right, so this is pretty nicely packaged.
Oh man, you're breaking the seal.
Let's see what we got here. All right. That is the top-down view here. So we got turn that around so you can see it. So you have with the to put the internal drive.
Now, do you know the max size of the hard drive that can be placed in there?
So you can do 32 terabytes with a partition.
Wow, 32 terabyte drive will fit in there. That's pretty impressive.
So you got a USB on the front, which is always helpful. So if you happen to, I'm going to give a shameless plug here. If you happen to purchase the Spatial Audio Toolkit, you can go ahead and plug
Wait,
that.
don't be plugging shit you don't make money on. What the hell? No.
And Chana some love every now and then.
Yeah, I would be more into promoting Chana's Atmos audio that you could play through that. Even though he's also part of the spatial audio. just poking fun. So
one
that's
thing that's nice about the back is you got the 3 USB 3 ports. So on the other models of the Zapiti, you only had 1 USB 3 port. So that'll allow the faster data transfer from your external hard drives to this. You got your IR extender, which is exactly what I thought it was. You do have an optical here. You got your HDMI in and out, which is actually a 2.1 HDMI, and then you got your LAN, and then this is actually a separate power supply that you can purchase, which is a better power supply than the one that's in here. And then you just got your standard.
I'm assuming that when you say, what do you mean? I'm guessing just from my career that when you say power supply, that input is a DC power supply input.
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know what that means, but basically it's like direct battery, if you would. So, and it's the DC power supplies are essentially noise free because it's not an AC type of current. There's positives and negatives of it. But that's pretty interesting that DC is one of the options for a media player, to be honest.
Trying to get rid of some of the glare. I got the light cranked up here, but there is a film on the front, that will pull off for protection. But yeah, this is the Player One 8K. Look forward to some. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe to Horizon Home Theater, and I'm going to do a review on the whole interface, and how to set everything up. I'll do a step by step on how to import your your ripped movies, or your music or whatever into the actual. We'll go through step by step.
Now, does it
on
come with
all
that knife you got there?
So,
Yeah, man.
so the back of it, at the back of it, they took out the two HDMI ports, right? Because the 4K that I unboxed just a few weeks ago has two HDMI ports
Yeah, so we'll share some specs on that.
yeah.
So do me a favor, and I'll share my screen. I'm going to switch back to my other camera here.
Okay.
But you can keep.
So which
if
camera
you
are
want to
you
add another one,
what camera are you
just
switching to now? Okay, I got you.
so if
You
you
s-
want to add another window just for that player, well, I can't. I can't do that because I'm doing that. But I'll share this screen for the Arvolution specs
Yeah,
for
you
the
share it,
8K.
and I'll pull it up because I have. Once you share it, I'll get the screen up.
Yeah, it's shared. There we go.
Okay, let me get it. And I have it on full screen, but we can. Oh, looks like I got you on the wrong camera. It's like, what camera are you using, Don? Okay.
I got 3 cameras going here, man. I'm high tech over here. You got to get with the board operator
Yeah,
and tell them how to run.
just turn off your phone camera. We don't need that anymore. Thank you, sir.
You got to get the board operator on board over here. I don't know what's going on tonight. So,
Look at
all
this
right.
guy.
You might have to
All right.
delegate that to someone that's more multitask. that might be Don.
Yeah,
So
right.
no, you saw me run that the second.
That's what made it funny. I was like, no one can join. Like, what are you talking about?
That was not my fault.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through this. One thing that we were talking about is that now that I'm introducing this one, what a coincidence that Ike introduced his, and the same day the Player One was 8K was announced. Well, guess what? Now that I'm introducing mine, just yesterday, the Player One 8K signature was introduced. Right?
Oh man, if
So-
you were a more popular channel, you probably would have got that one instead. That's my only guess.
So I spoke to Raphael. He sent me this unit. Raphael is the I believe he's the U.S. market director for Arvolution products. So he actually told me that at this moment the 8K signature edition is not going to be available in the U.S.
Yes.
So that's what he
That doesn't mean that you can't get it.
yeah, exactly.
So
Correct.
basically what it is it's actually a customized 8K player. So there's a company called Authentic Cinema in Germany, and you can actually send your 8K player to them, and then they customize it, and it becomes the signature edition. So that's where you see that name there, Authentic Cinema. That is actually the guys who were doing it. So it's basically 8K on steroids, but they customize it for you. And I'm actually reading from the email that I got. And I asked him if I could share this. He said yes. And um it's not going to be sold in the U.S. I don't think they thought it was needed for the U.S. market and also for Canada. And yes, the pricing is also going to be what they thought would be, a sticking point for the US market. So, yeah, it's not necessarily going to ship out as the signature player itself, but
So
if you have the 8K, you can send it to that company and they
so
can
what everybody wants
check
to
it
know,
out too.
what's the difference? What does the signature
So here we go.
Yeah,
We're here.
Don has that on, so he can pull up. There's a
So it
comparison
says that
chart for all three
results
of them.
compared to the 8K player, the picture looks cleaner with more stable. There's less noise in the deep blacks, resulting in 3D effect with better respect to the color grading, especially in the dark parts of the picture. The pictures also appears to be less blurring motion. I won't read all this stuff, but you guys can see.
Yeah,
You know,
there's the three comparison chart, right? Between the
yep,
three. If you
yeah,
scroll up on that,
mhm.
yeah, I think that might be better. Yeah,
So
that
you'll see
right
there's
there.
less difference than there is more difference with this. So they're using the same chipset, using the same processor, but it does say with some filtering. I'm not sure what that means, but same eight gig, same 64 Dolby, all the same Dolby Vision. So everything is the same all the way down, to the 2.1 on the HDMI version, and then you come to this HDD rack enclosure, and this one says with filter and insulation. I'm not exactly sure what the, you know HDD stands for hard drive, correct?
Yeah,
So maybe the enclosure has a little bit more insulation in it to protect from the loud noise from the internal drive is what I'm thinking that would be. I'm
Mm,
not
that
entirely.
would make
yeah,
sense.
that's what I
So
saw. I
it's
think I saw that on the Facebook page for our revolution. There was somebody who made a similar comment to that. That it has to do with, I guess, protecting the drives or something.
Yeah,
well, I don't
it
think that.
isolate the noise a little bit better.
I think you had mentioned this, and I was like, no, I don't know unless it's a Faraday. I forget the name.
Faraday cage.
Cage, yeah. Uh, but then what you just said, it is audible
Mm,
insulation, so
yep.
you don't hear the drives. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So it's, hey, you're not gonna hear the hard drive. That would be okay, that makes more
Tell
sense.
you what.
Even though all us engineers know you shouldn't have anything that's a spinning hard drive anywhere near your subwoofers. That you should have that in 2 rooms away.
Right.
But most people don't do that, so that's actually pretty ingenious. I can get behind that. I I
Yeah.
I would rubber stamp that as yeah, hard drives are friggin' noisy. They are.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but
So
if you're
I
listening to a
got to
quiet
thinking about that.
place,
We talked
you know,
about it yesterday. Yeah, I got to thinking about it. I think, you know what? That's got to be some kind of noise reduction, for the hard drive, because my
yeah,
Zappy, my Zappidi, I'll tell you what, it drove me insane to watch a movie with it in the same room, because especially like you just mentioned, the quiet place, you hear the
yes.
drive
People
going.
don't realize that's why the old school 5200 RPM hard drives are much slower, they're much quieter. But, nowadays we're watching 90, 80, whatever megs, which is nothing. If you're an engineer, don't hate on me. I'm not trying to say that 5200 is more than an RPM is more than enough to watch any movie, but whatever. But as far as like what this thing can transfer, 32 terabytes and a drive, it's going to be 7200 or 10,000 rpm or whatever it may be. That's impressive. And if it is if that's an audio thing, like as far as like, hey, we're just insulating the noise, that right there, that big check mark for me, even if it's just in my computer room right now, because I have all my stuff in a separate room, which I'm in now, and then my theater's in a whole nother room, but I still don't like hearing the damn things. I
Exactly.
hate, that's worth a lot of money, actually. That's if it doesn't degrade. The problem is you still have to cool hard drives. It's still a mechanical moving part, So I don't know how they're doing that, but hey, that if that's the new engineering and technology that's coming out, I'm all for more quiet hard
Yep.
drives.
Yeah. So it
That's
looks like this one has a toroidal transformer. Looks like some higher end capacitors. High end fuses. So yeah, there's some differences, but I don't think there's a substantial amount of differences, especially when it comes to processing power and memory and all the stuff that matters with the playback and the processing and the upscaling that it's going to do to the 8K. All
Yeah.
that stuff is basically the same, right?
Yeah,
So
it's about the same. It's just, one is just a little beefed up,
Well, what is
but the
what
price point
you were
is
just
interesting.
mentioned upscaling, because just being me, you know how I'm an ass. The upscaling is a big difference. People literally will spend way more money on upscaling, and that is in the future, that will be a thing, right? Especially with AI. Um, what is the difference in the upscaling? Is there any, or
so it says they're both using this Dolby Vision S10 video processing. That actually process that advanced 12-bit video processing.
Yeah.
So both units are using the same video, the VS10.
oh, okay, it's just doing the standard. Okay, I didn't know if it was doing some new interpolation of that, or yeah, because man, that is. I've had people show me some videos where 240p. Yeah, you just heard that. 240p that upscaled, that looked sharper than most 4K from an upscaling. Now, this took like 4 hours to upscale, So but at the same time, if you're capable of making something that's 240p or some super low resolution look, with upscaling and AI, look like super sharp and super real, and the future is, we can do that in milliseconds versus hours. Oh man, imagine that. And so anytime I hear something like that from a device like this, if they're doing some sort of new upscaling conversion, it's like, what is it? But yeah, the VS10 is actually pretty good for a lot of products. I think, doesn't the Zidu do that? Do the VS10
I'm
I
not sure.
think
upscaling?
the higher level ones, right? The higher model ones, I think. I don't know if the Z9X Pro does. I need to check.
Mm.
I haven't used any of that. But for this one, the 4K version doesn't have any AI enhancement, but the 8Ks have, as we can see. So,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
I like the HDMI 2.1 spec though. I think almost everything in the chain, well, in my use case now, almost everything in my chain is becoming HDMI 2.1.
Yeah.
So that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Everything talking the same, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you're in 2024, if you're building any new technology, you're putting out any stuff, just throw the latest specs, even if it's not perfect, But you don't want people to have to buy this and then go replace it 2 years later because they want HDMI 2.1. I don't know how it will necessarily fit in your chain, but it's just good to have it. It's probably cheaper to buy the chipsets for the 2.1 than ordering one that doesn't have it anymore.
So it looks like the Wi-Fi. It's version 6 Wi-Fi
Oh
with
wow.
HFC shielding. So
So the frequency shielded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
And
why
then
you want this on Wi-Fi, anyways, but let's
on
see.
the signature would be aluminum versus plastic. Not that that makes a huge difference, but at least in my eyes. But so
And
yeah,
maybe the Wi-Fi is just for controlling it. Like if you're wanting to, like if I on my
IP
Yamaha I have
control.
Music Cast, right?
Okay.
And I pull it up. It's not streaming from my phone to my processor and then to the speakers. It's just, oh, you're connected to your Yamaha receiver. Oh, look at all this artwork, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, I want to play this. It plays whatever, the 20 or title or whatever directly from the processor to the speakers, but I'm controlling everything and seeing the interaction via the Wi-Fi 6. So that
Yeah, I
could
really
be.
want to see. Yeah, I'm also curious to see if there's any improvement to the R video. Did they make any additional improvements to that based on it being an 8K player, or is it just the same one on the 4K player? I'm curious to see that. And
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. I did Raphael actually give you a Did he give you a price
I think it's
to have it
around
up?
I think it's around 17.99 for the signature, right? Yeah, it's
But that's for the whole unit. But what if you own the 8K and you send it out?
sorry, I'm not
Did
sure
you
I
say you
followed.
could send? So you said that you could send just your standard player one 8K to them to have them upgraded. Is that
Yeah.
is that or so? Do you know?
Um.
Did he
No, we didn't. We
do
did
that?
not. We did not discuss. I didn't know. I didn't ask that. I can follow up with him to find out. But I mean, the
Yeah, and
price
we
on
have him
this
on the
is
show too. So we maybe that's a question we can have him
yeah.
on the show.
I think the price. I think the price is around the 17.99. But I don't know if I don't assume if you already have the 8K and you want to get it beefed up that that's what they're gonna charge you. I don't think so, but I don't know. It's one of those things we're gonna figure out, and it's not. Chances are it's not coming to the U.S. market. So I think if we had anybody in Europe, they'll probably have better information on that. Joe is saying I have the player one. The 8K doesn't really mean anything in my setup. Did it make cover? Da, 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 da.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree with you. Most people. So in my use case, I actually have the JVC NZ8, and one thing that the NZ8 can do is uh, it can do a 8K E shift.
Yeah.
So that's why I really I'm going to run a direct HDMI because my JVC has two HDMI inputs, so I'm going to run a direct HDMI right from this player to
Oh
so
yeah, just to see if you get that upscaling right. I think
exactly.
the
Yeah.
NZ7 should
I
probably
mean,
have
the
8K
RAM
too.
the RAM
Sorry.
is a little increased, so that could help, like what he's saying is the cover art.
Yeah.
I don't know how much faster. I would be curious of that too, like a comparison of, hey, I've got, 8 gigs of RAM, I got 64 gigs of RAM. How much faster are we loading the cover art? Because the reality is we're getting so advanced in this technology, it's literally just the interface and the interaction, aka Kaleidoscape, right? That's why people love
Yeah, and
Kaleidoscape.
that's why I want to see if the R video, right? Because that's the video app, right? That's why I want to see for the 8K player. Is there
Yeah,
going to be any
yeah, and
difference?
because I even made the argument last time we were on here. I was like, dude, people, depending on where you're sitting, 8K isn't even. It's not a jump enough. Like to the super hobbyist, yes. Okay, I'm talking about the 90% of the people.
Yeah.
There's not enough jump to even perceivably see a difference in 4K
Right.
to 8K. You know,
Yeah.
because of the screen. There's so many factors, right?
I think the
And
larger the screen you go, the more you'll see it. Right.
oh yeah. Oh, and I've said that story. I went from just 125 to 150, and I went from even DVDs look okay on the 125. Like
Right.
with the Shield AI upscaler,
Yeah.
DVDs and Blu-rays look, I mean, yeah, you could tell, but it wasn't like, oh, I noticed, right? It was like, okay, if you weren't an enthusiast, honestly, you wouldn't notice, right? But and then Blu-ray to 4K on the 125, it's like, you got to get, I right up on the screen, like within a foot of the screen to be like, okay, I see the difference. But
Yeah.
then 150-inch screen, DVDs, I'm like, oh God, like, okay, now we're starting to see a big difference. And then Blu-ray to 4K, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see the difference, but it still wouldn't ruin my experience,
Right. Yeah. No.
It's,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I should be getting one in for review sometime this coming week, early next week. So I'm gonna compare, try to do the 8K tests. I'll see what Don also finds out with his own testing, and then do the 4K comparison and
So
see.
my screen's not. I mean, my project, my whole
well,
theater's
I have a question. I like Joe's comment here. And this is something that whenever you're doing your video and your review, it would be cool to know. Is the cover art, does it cache the cover art for all your stuff, or is it literally downloading that from
I
your
believe
Wi-Fi?
that our video does cache. The
correct.
question is to what extent does it do that? It does. I believe it does cache some of the contents of your art, your
Yes.
cover
One
arts and
of
all
the
that,
things that
and
Because
that's kind of what helps it be snappy.
yeah, because like Plex will, once you set up a Plex server, like especially on a NAS, it downloads all that cover art. Now
Yeah.
the player itself will still be limited, right?
Yeah,
Like the player still has to receive
still has to be
that
able to process it.
cover
Yeah,
art, you
yeah,
know. So that's the question. Is this server downloading it? How snappy is that,
So to
yeah.
my
With the
understanding,
with the
um,
8K though, you're getting more EMC RAM, right? So fast. I think for you're jumping from 32 megabyte uh, gigabits
because
rather to 64 gigabyte.
yeah,
So that
gotcha.
should help, but
Mm. See that I don't know.
okay,
See
so
that's what I don't know, and
for
that's
one
why
boot, yeah,
a lot
if
of
you boot
people
up,
like
it's not
your
gonna cache it. Yeah, it doesn't cache from one boot to the other. Yes, that I agree with. But once you have it running, once you boot it up and it does the initial cache, it stays there.
it
But
doesn't download, but we'll see like your Plex servers and stuff like that. It downloads all that stuff and keeps it. Like it keeps it in its
so
database
Petey, when
forever.
you use Petey, you could actually host all of that information too. So I once I get into it, I'll that'll be a question that I'm hoping to be able to answer.
Yeah,
You know,
because I'll be curious
yeah,
because
let's coordinate
yeah,
and do some testing, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
should get one in next week, and then we can all get together do some proper
live review.
testing.
Yeah, live review. We can do some capture card of the GUI.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna need a really long HDMI cable for that one, so that I can take my camera into the media room. But
well,
yeah,
the good thing is I got mine sitting right here, so I just plug it right in. And as you know, some of you know, my theater's not done yet. So what I plan on doing is actually I have a huge wall on my entrance. I think it's like almost
Yeah,
22 feet
we
wide.
talked about you being entitled. We
No,
already covered
no.
that. Oh,
So it's just
I'm
a
just playing.
walking area.
I'm just playing, man.
And my dining area opens up adjacent to it. So I can actually do almost like a 40-foot throw. from my dining area to this wall in my foyer. So I plan on trying to, just put as big of a picture on the wall as I can.
Man, yeah, you're gonna have to do a that is barcode level at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So I mean, I'm probably gonna,
All right.
try to put a 200-inch screen up there, with my projector, just to see what the difference, once I engage the 8K upscaling, to see if I can actually see the difference in it
Oh,
or
you have
not.
the laser. You know what? That's if you have any kind of light control, you'll probably still.
Yeah, I can turn all the lights off downstairs.
'Cause I know if you do a full light control, I think the Epson, like just the Epsons, can go like huge, like bigger than any average person will even have. Like we're talking 250 inch.
Yeah, I think the guy Linus, he just did a 300-inch image with the Epson.
Oh, 300? Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he just did
That's
one.
pretty
They're trying to set up a huge LAN party warehouse on that channel. But yeah, it's I just watched his video. It had he actually put two side by side Epsons to make like a huge image. So it was pretty crazy what they were trying to do over there. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to doing the review. Looking forward to getting into the GUI. I did a review on the Zapiti, so I know that interface inside and out. So hopefully, and that was my go-to player for at least a year or two before I got the Kaleidoscape. And it's I look forward to getting into this, diving into it, see what it can do, and actually put it to the test.
Yep.
Well, can't wait to see it. And maybe I'll influence that video a little bit. We'll have to see.
We'll do some live review about it, and we'll also, like you said, maybe get you some cameo on the video.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can handle that kind of growth.
Oh boy.
All right. On that note,
Yes.
Thank you everyone for joining this evening. Definitely appreciate it. We're at 2.5 hours right now, so we're going to go ahead and get it wrapped up. But thank you for joining the Home Theater Hub. If you have not liked or subscribed this video, subscribe to the channels. Please make sure you do that. That way we can continue to keep pumping out these videos and you'll get notifications. Paul, as always, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Appreciate
the invite and the acceptance.
Well, there's no one invite. You have a constant. You just like Scott. You're on the front page now.
You got your picture on the thumbnail talking about thank you for the invite. What are you talking about?
But we're just you say you're playing it by ear. You might X me out. I want to see my picture like with a crossbones and skull on it. Like nope, he's not here anymore. And another face up there.
Oh man, we really like having you. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining in. But please, like I said, make sure you subscribe to both channels, Easy HT Tech, Horizon Home Theater. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please send us an email to Home Theater Hub
live at
gmail.com. Thank you so much for everyone joining. We'll see you on the next show.
Thank you. Bye.
Later.